transition team confirming the first cabinet nominee, Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions, to be Attorney General, along with Congressman Mike Pompeo, tapped to be CIA chief, and retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn as National Security Advisor, a post that does not need Senate confirmation. One of the picks drawing a mixture of praise and criticism on Capitol Hill, where Fox Radio's Jared Halpern is live.
The Senate will need to confirm colleague Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell calling the Alabama senator principled, forthright, and hardworking. He predicts a timely up or down vote. But incoming Democratic leader Senator Chuck Schumer cautions past statements and staunch opposition to immigration reform leave him very concerned. In Massachusetts, Democrat Elizabeth Warren wants President-elect Trump to reverse the nomination, calling on the Senate to exercise fundamental moral leadership. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. A treacherous day on the roads in parts of Minnesota as snow socks the northern plains after moving in from the Rockies. Northern Nebraska residents digging out from half a foot in some areas, and there are blizzard conditions along with that storm in some areas too, along with a dip into the single digits and teens by tomorrow morning. Earlier in the week, temperatures were hovering in that region around 70 degrees. At the closing bell, the Dow down 35 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Welcome to Geico's Motorcycle Meanderings.
Oh man, this is great. I sure saved a lot of money by switching to Geico. I scored some big savings, and now I can use their mobile app 24/7 for all sorts of stuff. Life just makes sense now. What doesn't make sense is if a highway splits, it's a fork in the road. Then wouldn't a long straight stretch be a knife in the road? And then wouldn't a cul-de-sac be a spoon in the road? What would a spork be?
Geico Motorcycle. Savings that make sense.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Minnesota mom says her 17-year-old has been transitioning from male to female without her permission. So she's suing school and health officials in federal court.
Anne-Marie Calgaro is suing St. Louis County, Minnesota, the school district, and two healthcare providers, and asking a federal judge to restore her parental rights that she says were stripped from her without a court order last year, when her teenage son left home and began receiving transgender services, with the same agencies keeping the mother, who's not opposed to the change, in the dark.
I am firmly committed to what is best for my son. I am his mother, and he has always been and always will be welcome in our home.
St. Louis County officials, the school district, and other agencies at the center of the suit aren't commenting. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
One state lawmaker planning to introduce a bill next year aimed at preventing similar situations. The judge who's presided over the Penn State child sex abuse case for 5 years is taking himself off the appeal.
Judge John Cleveland is expected to be called as a witness in Jerry Sandusky's appeal, so he's recused himself. He'll be asked to testify about a meeting he had with Sandusky's original attorneys, and says in a statement now, the new defense team has chosen to impugn the integrity of essentially everyone involved in the investigation, trial, conviction, and post-conviction proceedings. Sandusky, a retired assistant Penn State football coach convicted of abusing 10 boys, is serving a 30 to 60-year prison sentence. He wants his conviction overturned or a new trial. Chris Foster, Fox News.
The California drought has killed more than 102 million trees. That new figure from the latest aerial survey by the U.S. Forest Service, showing 36 million more dead trees since May and a 100% increase since last year, further increasing the risk of catastrophic wildfires. The U.S. Agriculture Secretary urging Congress to act, saying more federal funds go to fighting fires than forestry management. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service in stereo. Brought to you by Chief Bauer, your heating and air conditioning experts. Give them a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight getting down to 33. Tomorrow cold and windy. High of 42, but it's going to feel much colder than that. Wind chills in the upper 20s with a low of 33 overnight. And then Sunday, about the same. Chilly, a little bit of sunshine, and the wind dissipating a bit. But again, this is truly the beginning of winter.
Yes.
Right now, though, it is nasty outside. 55, wet, windy. We are live at Game Day Spirit on Campus Town.
Luck wants to throw on first down. Tons of time. Oh, look at the arm. It is caught. It's caught. Touchdown, Illinois. Oh, there goes Kendrick Foster. Foster's got himself a touchdown. And it's a big one. 56 yards for Kendrick Foster. And they're back up. Oh, first goes down. It's a safety. DeLon Smoot. Garrett is complete. This has got a chance down the sideline, but Payne. It's a touchdown. Illinois again with 6. And they run that direction. It's a huge gainer for Vaughn. What kind of speed does he have? Oh, he's got plenty. Touchdown, Illinois.
I have so much respect for the men on our football team. It is one of the most resilient, tough-minded group of people I've ever seen. To go through the things that they've been through these last months, years in some senses, and to come back out on the other side, maybe a little bruised, maybe a little battered, but stronger than they were when they came here. To be able to walk in that room and put in front of them hope. To be able to put in front of them stability. To be able to put in front of them a championship vision. You could see their eyes light up. You could see them understand this is our moment. This is our time for the University of Illinois and for our football program.
Josh mentioned what we're shooting for. One of his statements that he made in his opening remarks were about how we will win. And I'm saying the same thing. And we want to get to a place where we're competing for Big Ten championships yearly.
Guess what day it is?
It's game day, Riley.
Woo! Woo!
It is game day tomorrow, and we are at Game Day Spirit on the campus of the University of Illinois.
For Tay and J College Game Day.
Yes, Tay and J College Game Day. You threw me off there. I was like, what was I doing wrong? Hey, it's Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, and Mike Carpenter. We're going to be here until 6 o'clock getting you ready for Illinois and Iowa. Also talking a lot of Illini hoops news.
No, keep it
Jeremiah
singular.
Tillman.
Singular,
Illini hoop news. As Illinois, of course, inks the big class with Jeremiah Tillman yesterday. Is football on the mind? That'd be the biggest question coming out here on the campus of the University of Illinois. Is football on the mind, Jeremy, with Iowa? This is Iowa coming to town.
Yeah, and a team you've only played, 3 times since 2008.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a team you haven't seen all that often. But, I mean, this should be a game where Illinois at least has a chance to win. And I think that'd be another huge win for this program as they just look for, these kind of program moments. And if you beat Michigan State and Iowa, and even if you don't make a bowl, and you could win 2 in a row here and make a bowl.
Sure.
Even if you don't make a bowl, those would be 2 big wins that you can build off of. But it's going to be a 43-degree day with a team that people aren't all that excited about.
No.
It is senior day, but you're going to have a lot of students that are back at home, too, as well. And that's why, a lot of times you see the students kind of away during this weekend as they head home for Thanksgiving break.
Carp, I got to ask you that. Jeremy said this. There's a chance you could win 2 games here and possibly be bowl eligible. Do you even let something like that creep into your mind at this point?
No.
Okay.
No. And this is me coming off the heels of a Jeremiah Tillman commitment.
Wait until they beat Iowa.
Yes.
He'll be all in.
Yes.
We'll be doing cartwheels in the station
heading to
week.
Evanston in a week. No, because I think it's a mix of things. I mean, for one, when you lose in the manner that you did against Wisconsin, which maybe should not have been unexpected, but it was how quickly that game got away from you. And, yes, certainly the defense, what are they going to do?
Right.
You get the Jeff George Jr. for starting quarterback long term kind of died.
Ooh. I think that's part of it, though. If you think about what keeps a fan interested, even when you aren't winning games, part of it is, let's see what the young guy can do. Well, we've seen, And it's not what you really want in your long-term plans. So what you're seeing tomorrow now is the return of Wes Lunt, a guy that everybody has an opinion on in some form or another, or even if they don't really have much of an opinion, it borders on apathy.
Sure.
Add in a bad weather day. I honestly think if it was 55 and sunny tomorrow, you'd still get 35,000 in there.
Yeah.
Because it's Iowa.
I agree.
But it's not. It's going to be miserable out there, and I don't blame people for saying I'm staying home.
It's supposed to be sunny.
Yeah, it'll be sunny. It'll be rainy,
sunny.
right? Hopefully this rain will come and go and it'll bring in the cold temperatures. We talked, Jeremy, last week about what Wisconsin was able to do, and it's because they're physical. They're just one of those teams that's going to come in and they're just going to run you over.
Yeah.
And everything they did, every little play action, every counter run, everything just seemed like they knew exactly what Illinois was trying to do on defense. It was a perfect game, if you ask me, for Wisconsin. Iowa's another physical team. Yeah. And that, like you said earlier, that scares you.
Coming off a win against a Michigan team that's has a really good chance of making college football playoff if they beat Ohio State. So, yes, I think that's a scary thing that this team's kind of built like that. But I also thought this team's closer to Minnesota, in my opinion, than it is to Wisconsin. I mean, Minnesota's, 8-2 at this, or 7-2, 7-3 at this point. Michigan is way better. Wisconsin, I think, is way better than Iowa. This is an Iowa team that can't move the ball.
Right.
They're a good running team, not great running team. More like Minnesota than Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a really great running team. Wisconsin's defense is elite, so one of the top 3 in the country. Iowa's defense is really good, but not quite that good. You know, Wisconsin averages 13 yards per, or 13 points per game they allow, while Iowa's about 20.
Okay.
So there's a big drop off from there. So this is a good team. This is a team that can run away from Illinois pretty quickly, but I think it's more similar to Minnesota in that you're going to have your chances.
Right.
Illinois had plenty of chances against Minnesota. It's just, do they have the offense that can take advantage of those chances? Because against Minnesota, it was the turnovers that killed you. Against Wisconsin, it's the turnovers that kill you. Well, now you have Wes Lunt coming in here, and no matter what you think of him, doesn't turn it over all that much.
Gives you a better chance,
especially in the pass game. So he at least gives you a chance, and for me, it's going to be really interesting to watch him, how healthy he is, and to see if he can just leave that one last mark.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I've said it all the time. I think he picked the wrong school.
Yeah.
He came here for Cubitt's offense and to, be closer to home. He had many options, including SEC options. And you see some of those Purdue quarterbacks that are starting in the SEC. He's better than them.
Right.
So if he would have played at a school with a run game, wide receivers, a good defense, I think he could have had a successful career. But he came here, and he had the injuries himself, the injuries around him, and just not a very good team around him.
Wasn't Louisville an option?
Louisville was an option, but I don't think he'd be starting at this point.
No, I don't think so either.
When you look at Iowa and
that was a Charlie Strong thing.
True, that was different. Hard to believe that's 4 years ago that he would have committed to Illinois, and he had to sit out that 1 year. So a fifth-year senior, it would be great if this was his last hurrah. It would leave a mark. I mean, even if this team doesn't make a bowl game on the back of Wes Lunt, you would still have that win that you hope to look back on and say, well, that, along with the Michigan State win, was sort of the signs of life, that this program could become something under Lovie Smith. With Iowa's defense, you mentioned how it's not as good as Wisconsin, and you've seen that in a few games this year. North Dakota State, back in September.
Right.
A lot of issues defensively against them. Northwestern at home, when Northwestern was dead in the water, and then I think they went up there and put up 34 at Kinnick Stadium. So it's hard to know what tomorrow is going to be like, because the first assumption would be with the wind, it's going to be a low-scoring affair, very much about ball protection and everything like that. But with the over-under, you said it's still 44 or something like that. I could still see the game getting weird.
Yeah.
And whether that be big plays on either side of the ball, that's where Illinois' offense will have their problems regardless. You need a pick six. You need a return. You need something to give yourselves a chance, because it's not going to happen solely on the offense.
It's funny you say pick six. We went into this year, and Lovie Smith's been all about this, Jeremy. When he was the, of course, Chicago Bears coach, it was all about turnovers, right? Yep. And then in the meeting room, he put the old, punch, grab, whatever that is.
That ball in a spring.
The ball in a spring. How has Illinois done with the turnovers this year? I mean, obviously it's something they're going to have to improve on as we go forward.
Other than game one.
Not as well as Lovie would have liked.
Well, the stats are skewed because they have 2 games where they did really well.
Yes.
Murray State, they had a 3 turnover game.
That's right.
And then Rutgers, they had a 5. And if you had turnovers on downs, it was 7. But other than that, they have 5 turnovers in the other 8 games.
Wow.
So it hasn't been good enough because they don't have enough playmakers, especially in that secondary. You need speed and you need athleticism and you need physicality, and they haven't had enough of it. The one thing is they forced a lot of fumbles here recently.
Right.
Stanley Green has been a big part of that. So they are increasing some of those things, and you just got to take advantage of them. A lot of them hit the ground. The other team has recovered. That's more luck than anything.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting there, but when it comes to picks, things like that, they just don't have the guys in the secondary.
How in the heck did Iowa beat Michigan? How did that happen?
Typical Iowa
defense,
game.
and Michigan didn't play that well.
They just didn't play well.
Michigan's really good, but for me, Wisconsin, I think, is just as good.
Right.
Is Michigan. After seeing both those teams, Michigan might have they don't have a Jabril Peppers on Wisconsin.
Right.
But, that offense, the quarterback has been good most of the year, Wilton Spate, and he got hurt. We'll see how that impacts them. But I don't think there's a huge difference between those teams. So I never saw Michigan as this unbeatable force this year. I think Ohio State's definitely more talented.
It was Jay Lehman that said on Tuesday, or maybe back on Monday, one of those 2 days, that Kinnick Stadium, just teams are weird at that stadium. For whatever reason, they just don't have their bearings about them. And then you get Iowa on the road, and that is something that Ferentz historically has struggled with, getting outside Kinnick Stadium. But even with that, you look back 2 years ago when Iowa came back here, and another very cold day in Champaign, and what do? They ran all over Illinois. So just when you think that, okay, Iowa, it's a boring brand of football, they won't blow you out of the water, you know that at the end of the day, if you make mistakes, they very easily could blow you out of the water in the first half. So I think you're going to see a lot of what happened in the Michigan State game. People kind of waiting, whether they're in the tailgate lots or anything like that, they're going to wait, see what it's like at halftime. Are you within a score? And then if so, then all of a sudden it does get interesting, because the longer you hang around, I think you got a shot.
So what game are you guys more interested in? Iowa, Illinois, or Illinois, Detroit Mercy basketball tonight?
This isn't even this is so easy to me. It's the basketball game tonight. I'm sorry, and that's horrible, but it has nothing to do with Detroit Mercy, obviously, but it's how the progression of this basketball team goes, because I think we can finally, as Illinois fans, latch onto something that's tangible, because it could be a postseason thing. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and the Tillman announcement has a big impact on that. And
this is the same guy Tuesday who was ready to
done.
Just saying,
picking Detroit Mercy to win.
Cautiously optimistic. How's that? I'm not fully on board, but I'm mostly on board.
What if they lost tonight?
I'm right back off.
Right.
If they lose any of these first 5 games, I'm right back off of it. But the good news is that there's something nice about knowing that there's certain kind of measuring sticks you can put throughout the year. So after that tournament in New York, where are we? Are we a 1-loss team? Are we a 2-loss team? Or maybe no losses at all, and then all of a sudden you have that excitement going into North Carolina State. That's why I like how this non-conference is scheduled, because it provides you lots of opportunities for wins, lots of opportunity for quality wins, but not really any there's no blue bloods on it. There's no top 10 quality teams. The West Virginia's an interesting wild card. And a game like tonight, what you hope is to continue to see that synchronization, as Gross would say, that you did against McHenry, D2 or not.
Yeah.
You did what you had to do.
Absolutely.
But also at the same time, shore up those areas, defensively rebounding, start dominating in those areas in the games that you can.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's going to be a long season when you play Big Ten teams.
You got to crush this team.
You do. You do.
You need double-digit wins, and don't let them hang around like the other teams. This is a team you should be able to crush, and we're going to talk about it. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, is going to join us at 5:05 to talk Jeremiah Tillman, the impact of that, and Illinois basketball going forward. The Winthrop game will be more interesting.
I agree with you.
That team's a lot better, and I think they play Florida State tonight, opponent you also have on your schedule.
Okay.
Jordan Burnfield, ESPN3, he's on the call tonight, and 670 The Score. He's going to join us here at College Game Day, or Game Day Spirit here. So he's going to join us at 4:05. We'll talk some Illini a little bit with him, but more baseball, White Sox, Cubs off season, and we'll talk a little Iowa Hawkeyes with Derek Young, Hawkeye Insider, at 3:30 today.
I, Jeremy, am wearing a Game Day Spirit pullover, and you know that I wear this about every day.
Yeah,
it's the most comfortable thing I own, and I love the Illinois gear with it. And joining us now is Audra Shield. She's the marketing manager for Game Day Spirit. Thanks for joining us, Audra. You guys, this is a big time of year, obviously, with Christmas coming up. We'll talk all about that. But also, you've got your stadium sale, which is coming up. Is that this week or next weekend, I guess, right?
December 3rd.
I'm going to have you hold that right there. That's perfect. So talk a little bit about the stadium sale and what you guys hope to do on that.
Okay, it'll be December 3rd, and the doors open at 9 a.m. There's usually a little bit of a line to get in because it's a pretty big sale. It'll be our lowest prices of the season.
Awesome.
So everything that we've carried all year long, we'll have huge discounts on everything, up to 70% off.
Okay.
And then for this sale specifically, we get access to locker room apparel that the teams have gotten. So that's the biggest hit.
So you guys also have Black Friday shopping coming up. My wife's all ready
do.
for that. So what do you guys have going for Black Friday?
We have a ton going on this year. Everyone who makes a purchase on that day will get a free Block Eye decal.
Oh, cool.
Just kind of a little Go Illini. And then we'll have up to 40% off of just about everything in the store at one time or another. So there will be a lot of good sales on jerseys, fleece. We also have an Under Armour line for local high schools here in town, so that'll all be on sale too at Neal Street.
And that's all right here on the Neal Street where we're standing right now. Yeah, downtown. Okay, That's awesome. And then, of course, Christmas, that leads into it, obviously, Black Friday.
Yes.
So if guys like me that avoid that day with everything I can, what is the next thing that I need to do? You guys will have stuff, obviously, during December, right?
Yes, starting November 30th. So for the 25 days leading up to Christmas, we're having the 25 days of Christmas.
Okay.
And we will have a different sale on different items every single day leading up to Christmas.
Awesome.
So we'll have that in both of our stores and online, so you can check that out every day and see what's next.
And it's not just for Illini fans. I see you guys have Cubs gear.
We do have Cubs gear. We've got hats, mitts, sweatshirts, T-shirts. We've got it all.
They're nice hats, and that's painful for me to say as a Cardinal fan. So, Audra, do you own about every item in this store? I mean, if we went to your house right now and looked in your closet, is there like every item in Game Day Spirit in your store or in your closet?
The women's gear, I try to look cute and Illini, so the women's gear, I definitely have quite a bit. I try not to buy too much, but especially when you're making a lot of the designs yourself, there's really cute stuff that you just got to have.
What is the challenge from year to year? You got to obviously be fresh every year. You have to come up with new stuff. How hard is that?
You just have to appeal to your customer base. So I would say following trends specifically on campus are huge. It takes a lot more than just, this looks cool, Nike did it, let's do it too. We have to deviate from that and find something else that will attract customers and specifically students.
A lot of tank tops, right? That's what the kids were. That was me back in the day, back in the 80s. Now we're back. We're back with the tank tops. Audra Shields, marketing manager, Game Day Spirit. Thank you so much. Good luck with Black Friday. What time do you open Black Friday? Is this like a 4 a.m. thing?
We'll open at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Oh, you guys are sane.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're trying to be.
Audra, thank you so much.
Thank
you. We
you.
appreciate it. Good luck with everything as Christmas comes rolling along soon. Man, I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah, I know.
Here comes
we had
Thanksgiving
70
as well.
degrees
I
yesterday.
know. And here comes Thanksgiving next week and then Christmas. Yikes.
We got a busy show. We'll talk Iowa with Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com coming up next. We'll talk some baseball and Illini with Jordan Burnfield. He's on the call for ESPN 3. You know him from 670 The Score. We'll also talk with Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com at 5:05. Got Illini football over-unders, know your enemy, and who you got coming up as well.
I always love doing our show from campus, and especially here at Game Day Spirit. It is always fun. Come join us. We are downtown in Champaign. It is Tay and J College Game Day.
We're talking with Tim Wood of Stone Seed. Tim, I understand there's been a new breakthrough with soybeans?
Not just a breakthrough, Stevie, a game changer. There's a new Monsanto soybean with a yield 6 to 10 bushel better than the competition.
6 to 10 bushels better? That's a pretty significant upgrade.
And not only is there an increased yield with these soybeans, but these beans have been bred over 7 years. The first time in history a product like this has had so much breeding and selection.
6 to 10 bushels better. A soybean bred over 7 years. What else?
Dicamba is the only platform with a 14-day residual. It also has improved safety and vapor grip, a technology that reduces the volatility of dicamba to nearly zero.
Tim Wood of Stone Seed. Give him a call, 493-2295. That's 217-493-2295.
Better soybean yield, better breed, increased safety. We have it all at Stone Seed.
Stone Seed. We live here. We farm here. We know Illinois.
Honda presents ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Take home a 2017 Civic with Bluetooth streaming audio at the Happy Honda Day sales event. Or 2. Put eggnog in all your recipes.
Look, kids, eggnog a lasagna.
Nothing's quite as magical as great holiday deals on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car in its class. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Based on IHS Automotive CYTD December 2015 non-luxury traditional compact segment, new retail registrations in the U.S. See dealer for financing details.
Ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Bake cookies for the whole neighborhood.
We're going to need more cooling racks.
Or 2. Get the super versatile 2016 CRV at the Happy Honda Day sales event. The Honda CRV, a 2016 KBB.com Best Buy. Well-qualified buyers can enjoy 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Visit your Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
For more information, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelly Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelly Blue Book Co. Inc. See dealer for financing details.
Discover seasonal treasures and gifts, elaborate trees, and wreaths galore. There's something for everyone at the 21st Annual Festival of Trees, presented by Junior League of Champaign-Urbana. Help celebrate our tradition on November 19th and November 20th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Champaign. Kids, you can even have brunch with Santa. Proceeds support projects like Junior League Bright Starts Early Education Program and Kids in the Kitchen. Visit juniorleaguecu.org or call 356-5880 for more information. Festival of Trees is sponsored in part by this station's parent company, Stevie J Broadcasting.
The experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts remind you that carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and deadly. When gas furnaces aren't working right, they can leak carbon monoxide, and that could be a big problem. Replace that old furnace with help from the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts. You'll save up to 50% on energy bills, and right now you can get payments as low as $99 a month or save up to $2,700 on a new Lennox home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or schedule an appointment online at chiefbauer.com.
This Mettler tip is brought to you by Matthew Gordon, Doctor of Physical Therapy at the Mettler Center.
Does the room ever spin when you stand up, turn your head, or move in bed? If so, you may be dealing with an inner ear issue known as vertigo. Vertigo is caused when a crystal in the inner ear dislodges and moves into the circular canals in your ear, and it alters the flow of fluid. This makes the room seem like it's spinning. If you are tired of things spinning, come in and see a physical therapist.
For more fitness and wellness advice, click on Ask an Expert at MettlerCenter.com.
Think you've got it bad when you don't get your favorite spot for tailgating? Early tailgating dates back to the Civil War era and the Battle of Bull Run. Imagine picking a stray musket ball out of your wife's guacamole dip. Tailgating's come a long way since that era, and the drinks have come a long way too. Be sure to grab your growlers and canned 4-packs from JT Walker's in downtown Mahomet. While you're there, be sure to grab some of JT's famous wings and stick around and catch all the NFL action on Sunday Ticket. JTWalkers.com.
At Body & Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body & Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body & Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com. Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Austin Berkman, and here's today's SportsCenter update. A day after the Jeremiah Tillman signing, the Illini open up against Detroit Mercy tonight. The Illini won their last game against McKendree, in which they made 16 threes, tying a school record. Detroit ranks 269th in the latest KenPom rankings. The game will be at 7 p.m. on ESPN streaming service, ESPN3.com. The Fighting Illini football team will honor their seniors on Saturday as Senior Day as the Illini take on the 6-4 Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa is coming off a last-second win against the then-ranked number 2 Michigan Wolverines. Illinois will be with starting quarterback Wes Lund. You can catch the game at 11 a.m. Saturday on Big Ten Network. The Chicago Bears are back in action on Saturday against the New York Giants. The Bears last week lost a 36-10 blowout to the Chris Conte-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 6-3 Giants are on a 4-game win streak the Bears will try to break. That game will be played at noon Sunday on Fox. Jimmy Butler led the Bulls in scoring with 20 points and rebounds with 12 in an 85-77 win over the Utah Jazz. Dwayne Wade added 18 points of his own. The next Bulls game in the infamous circus trip that they've gone 3-0 so far this season is at the Staples Center against the Clippers. The game will be broadcast on NBA TV at 9:30 Saturday. The MVP awards were given out last night, and Chris Bryant won the NL award, collecting 29 out of 30 first-place votes. Murphy finished in second, and Corey Seager finished in third. And Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo finished fourth. Don't worry, Cardinal fans. The Yadier Molina did receive 2 10th-place votes. On the AL side, Mike Trout was awarded the MVP. Red Sox Mookie Betts finished second, and Jose Altuve finished third. I think Kate Upton is happy with these awards. In other baseball news, Andrew Cashner signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Texas Rangers.
Kate Upton. Yes! Anytime she's in a report,
as long as I get to think of her.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Hey, it's Tay and J College Game Day. We are not on Neal Street. As I said earlier.
Where we're standing right now.
Where we're at, right here. It's Game Day Spirit. Campus Town is where we're at. Want to thank our sponsors, Honda BMW of Champaign, Chief Bauer, JSM, Champaign Center Partnership, Busey, Game Day Spirit, Shambana Sales, and DP Doe.
Yeah, we got a busy show for you. Jordan Burnfield, ESPN 3 and 670 The Score, will join us at 4:05. At 5:05, Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, will join us as well. We got Who You Got later on in the show. Also, Illini football overs and unders, and Know Your Enemy, Iowa. And I might throw Detroit Mercy if I can find anything about them.
Well, I was going to say, is there? I wouldn't know that one.
Yeah, we'll see if I can find
Squad the limb right there. All right, it's time to head to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line. It's time to get us geared up for Iowa and Illinois, that game tomorrow. And Derek Young from HawkeyeInsider.com joins us now. Derek, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. High school football winding down and college football as well.
Yeah, Derek, that was a huge upset for Iowa last week. How'd they pull off that win over Michigan?
They did it with defense. Statistically, throughout the year, if you look at the numbers, you wouldn't think that they have, a very good defense at all, but they actually have. They've just been put into, difficult situation after difficult situation. It's been practically impossible for them because their offense is just so anemic. But their defense has stars at every level. When you look at linebacker Josie Joel, cornerback Desmond King, and defensive tackle Jaleel Johnson, who is from Illinois. So they did it with defense. But this is still an offense that has trouble moving the ball, although I think they've found one weapon in running back Akram Wadley.
Yeah, we'll talk about some of those guys. But just kind of overall, Derek, last year was kind of one of those magical years, kind of like Illinois in 2007, where almost everything seems to go your way, all those kind of breaks. But that was a really good team. But what's the difference this year? Kind of falling back to what Iowa's been, which is kind of an above-average Big Ten West team.
I think one area you got to look at is just the offense is obviously taking steps back. They lost a few of the playmakers, such as Tavon Smith, Jordan Kenzeri, and Henry Krieger-Koval. So that made the top weapons returning tight end George Kittle and wide receiver Matt Vandenberg. They've been without Vandenberg for almost the entire season. He's out for the year with an injury, and they've been without George Kittle for about 3 or 4 weeks. So there's really no great options in the passing game for C.J. Beathard. His numbers have suffered because of that. And he's also, on his back a lot. The pass protection's been an issue, and that's really hurt him and his ability inside the pocket. And his mobility seems to be a lot less this year. He got banged up quite a bit last season. He wasn't 100% very often in the off season, and you have to wonder if the banging he's taken over the course of the last 14, 15 months is really starting to take a toll on him because he just hasn't looked as mobile or as healthy as he once did last year.
Young, HawkeyeInsider.com. We can say that a little about Wes Lunt, obviously, but Derek, there's always more to the story, if you will. I know for Illinois, it's really Malik Turner, and that's it on the wide receiver. Guys can't get separation, cannot get open for Wes Lunt and some of these quarterbacks to hit. Is it all C.J. Beathard, or what exactly is going wrong with that passing offense that ranks 120th out of 128 in FBS teams?
I think it's probably a lot of the same things that are faltering for the Illini. They have a lot of unproven young wide receivers that have yet to really take that next step forward. They're struggling to get separation. They're struggling to even run the right routes at times. The chemistry with Beathard isn't there, so you wonder if Beathard's health in the off season hurt them more than what was being led on, because he's got a lot of young receivers right now that he hasn't worked with very much, and the chemistry is just all out of whack. They have Germany Smith, who has a ton of talent, but sometimes he can't catch the ball, and then sometimes he's just not getting enough separation. The same can be said for Jay Shield, Adrian Valkner, just a lot of unproven commodities at wide receiver that have yet to take that next step forward. The most reliable weapon was Matt Vandenberg. He's injured. Riley McKieran's a fifth-year senior, but he's not someone with an incredible amount of talent or speed. Their best option has been George Kittle. Vandenberg was hurt. Now Kittle's injured. So they're just kind of gutted, in terms of finding weapons in the passing game. Their best weapon in the passing game, it can be argued for the last couple of weeks, has been running back, Patrick Wadley.
Yeah, Derek, I want to ask you about him because I find this offense versus defensive battle. I think really interesting when it's Iowa's offense against Illinois' defense. I think that could be an even battle. The defense against Iowa's defense against Illinois' offense, I think Iowa has a huge advantage. But tell me about Wadley and LaShun Daniels. They're kind of a 1-2 punch that do things differently, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a 1-2 punch. Daniels is known for his power. Wadley is known for his speed and wiggle, although Wadley is running with a little bit more power this year, and Daniels is running with a little bit more speed. It would be awesome to see what these two can do on maybe a different offense where there wasn't so one-dimensional or predictable, because they're doing this when every team that they face knows what they're going to do on nearly every play because they can't throw the ball. So it's almost been more impressive what they've done on the ground this year than, say, what they did a year ago. But, yeah, Wadley would bring more elusiveness to the table, while Daniels is more of a standard, typical Iowa back that likes to go between the tackles.
Derek, you've talked about this defense. Let's get specific of what Illinois is going to face tomorrow. The Illini, they can mix it up a little bit in that backfield with Corbin and some of these guys, Kendrick Foster that's had a pretty good season, and, of course, Malik Turner as well on the outside. And you get Wes Lunt back, which I think a lot of Illini fans are excited for, to see how he can do in his last home game at Illinois. But this defense, as mentioned, 18th in the country in scoring defense. What are some strengths? What can we as Illini fans expect to see from this unit tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not one that's going to overly wow you, to be honest. They don't have any elite pass rushers. Their best pass rusher is probably a redshirt freshman in Anthony Nelson, and I'm not sure when the last sack he recorded was. Parker Hesse's also, improved in that area since he got healthier. But yeah, not a defense that's going to really wow you, but they have stopped the run pretty well since Big Ten play started. It wasn't necessarily a strength for them in the early going this year. They've improved each game, but they really do defend the pass in the secondary very well. You have Desmond King. They are going to be without Greg Maben at corner. They were without him against Michigan as well. He's out for the season with a broken ankle. So Illinois native and true freshman Manny Regaba will be getting his second career start, and he was magnificent against Michigan for being his first career start, as he locked up Amara Darbo pretty well. The one liability in this defense, I think, week in and week out, though, has been the safeties. They haven't been very good as a last line of defense, and they've been pretty poor at tackling for most of the season. Now, they did play their best game of the year last week against Michigan, and it was kind of interesting because one of the starters got hurt on the second play of the game and didn't play the rest of the game. So backup Anthony Gare might be the guy going forward. But if there's one area to attack on this defense, it's trying to get those safeties in space, or maybe go a little bit vertical and test their ability to, supply that over-the-top coverage.
Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com. Kirk Ferentz has been there a long time. He's stayed there when other jobs have come up, and he has a big, long contract. What's the future look like for Iowa football?
I would say it's promising. A little bit of a mystery, but it's promising. I mean, Kirk Ferentz just got another extension, so he's going to be here. There's no uncertainty of the kind of stability that they have in their coaching staff, but ever since they got those new facilities about a year and a half ago, then they reeled off that 12-0 regular season. Recruiting has been, almost an all-time uptick for Kirk Ferentz since he's been the head coach. I think he was hired in 1999. And they did lose a wide receiver commit today, though, which is kind of coincidence. But, I mean, it's a fringe top 25 class right now. They lost a couple of their top guys, but they could also, add a couple more right at the end. And there was almost a top 25 class last year. The early signs for 2018 class look good. I would have to think that Iowa's, at least an an 8-win team going forward for the next couple of years. They're going to have to fight to get the 8 wins this year, which would probably have to take a win over Illinois and then, obviously beating Nebraska or winning in the bowl game. But you would think that 8 wins is almost the floor of this program right now going forward.
Quit bragging, Derek. Quit bragging. That's something we'd love to have. Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com. You mentioned Desmond King, the cornerback, who a lot of people thought would go pro last year, but he came back. How has that affected him in his mind? Has he improved? Did he feel he was not ready for the NFL? Because I know he's a guy a lot of pro teams are looking at and would love to have on their roster.
I think it was twofold. I do think that it was kind of like, usually you hear it and you always really question whether it's really the reason when an athlete says he wants to come back to graduate or get a degree. I think it was partially that, and I think some of that is factually true. I think it's because his mother really wanted that for him, and I think he listened to her in that regard. But I also think he was listening to the other people in his ear, the other side of the equation, the NFL scouts, and the agent business, kind of knowing where he would probably get drafted or where he needed to improve on. And I think he may have been a first-round pick last year, but I think he kind of heard back some feedback that may have suggested second or third round. And I think that the one knock might have been overall speed. He's not going to blow anyone away even this year, running the 40-yard dash. So I think that's one area he wanted to improve on, and I think he's there. I think in terms of, just being, typical coverage skills or, to run support as a corner, I don't think he had a lot of room to improve from where he was a year ago. He was already the Philip Award winner. He had 8 interceptions last year, and it was almost a certainty he wouldn't duplicate those numbers again. So I think it just kind of came down to kind of improving the little minute things, such as, get a little bit stronger, get a little bit faster, because in terms of technique and all that stuff, there's only so much you can learn at some point in college before you got to take that next step.
Derek, what do you think of this matchup tomorrow, and what do you kind of see as the keys to the game for Iowa?
In this one, Iowa, I really think it's almost the keys for them are the same in every contest. They got to be able to run the ball because they can't throw the ball at anyone, regardless of who the opponent is, at least in the Iowa State game in week 2. So they got to be able to run the ball. Illinois is, when they've had offensive success, it's been the explosive plays from their running backs. So you got to wonder when that comes into play. You got to take that away. And if they can't, I think they edge out a win. But just because they beat Michigan last week, I'm not expecting a decisive victory. They haven't really beaten anyone decisively this year. Their biggest win inside the conference was Purdue on the road by 14 points. That was a game that wasn't as close as that final score appears. But Iowa's still not a team that's going to pull away from anyone. I think they inch out a pretty narrow victory on the road. They went undefeated last year in the regular season, and they beat Illinois by 9. I don't think you're going to get much different ball game this year. I would see Iowa by a touchdown or less.
Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com. Before we let you go, Illinois fans kind of moved on to basketball to see what happens there.
Yes.
But Iowa basketball, I think people are going to need a roster because they lost almost everything from last year except for Peter Jock.
Right.
We know Christian Williams out of Decatur is playing, and I know Illinois recruited Tyler Cook. What do you think of Iowa basketball this year?
Last night they lost their first game of the regular season to Seton Hall, which that was their first real challenge of the year. They lost 91-83. It's a very young team, 4 new starters. They're playing a lot of freshmen, a couple redshirt freshmen, a handful of sophomores. So they're still kind of learning that you actually have to play defense at this level to be successful. And I think last night was a pretty hard lesson in that. But they're going to be able to score. Tyler Cook scored over 20 points twice, I think, already. Peter Jock has the least amount of points he scored so far, I think, is 28. He's a professional. He's a future pro. He knows how to score the ball, but even as a senior, he's still not, totally willing to play a ton of defense. So kind of a typical Fran McCaffrey team, just a little bit young. Last night they ran into a buzzsaw in Seton Hall. 2 starts, 4 juniors and a 5th-year senior. Those 4 juniors are returning starters, and with the McDonald's All-American coming off the bench, they put up 26. It was a tough lesson that the Iowa youngsters learned last night, but they do have a bright future. I'm just not sure that future is this year, although I see them as an NIT team this year and then pretty dangerous in the following season.
Great stuff. Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com, getting us ready for the 11 a.m. kickoff, Iowa and Illinois from Memorial Stadium. Derek, appreciate your time. Thanks for the info.
Hey, thank you. I'll be anytime.
We appreciate it. That is Derek Young, again, HawkeyeInsider.com. 11 a.m. kick tomorrow. It's going to be chilly.
You're going to need some chili.
You're going to need some
bear chili.
Get home about 4 or 5 and eat some chili.
Like that dad joke.
I like it.
Right there.
See, I didn't get it.
You're going to need some chili. It would be – I do like cold weather football, but trying to think of the coldest game I've been to, this won't approach that.
No.
I mean, the wind's going to not be a lot of fun, but it's not going to be crazy cold out there. Fresno State. 2009 was that one?
What a phenomenal game.
Oh, it was so great.
I know if you're an Illini fan, that was hard. But
was that when the lineman caught the ball and scored?
It was so entertaining. If you were watching bad football that day, that's the game.
33 to 30 or something.
And to bring it all home, guess what we had at the tailgate? Chili.
Nice. How about
big old bowl of chili.
How about that?
NFC Championship game, Bears-Packers.
Yes.
In 2010. I was there. It was sub-zero.
I was there the week before, and it was snowing, but it was like 30 degrees.
I don't think
nice.
I've been to many cold things because I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I just
don't
wear
your Cax tomorrow?
Yeah, I might. Well, yeah, as long as I'm up top. As long as I'm good up top, my legs are good.
Oh, you'll freeze, man, if you do that. Hey, we actually, in Austin and Rob back in the studio, we do have a pair of tickets to the basketball game tonight.
Awesome.
Illinois, Detroit, not only that, but Legacy Club Access.
Holy smoke.
This is the old B section tickets, so you have the ability to go to the bar, whatever you want to do, and we will take Michael Finke is on this, so let's take the 43rd texter, Finke, the 43rd texter to 359-2255. That's 359-2255. Finke, the 43rd texter, but you have to pick them up.
Right.
Not at the Neal Street location.
Not at the Neal Street. Not right where we're standing.
Yeah. The Game Day Spirit location at 6 and Green in Campus Town. We will be here until 6. So the 43rd texter, Finke.
All right. We are rolling along live at Game Day Spirit. Come join us. We're here until 6 o'clock. Jordan Burnfield, ESPN 367 The Score, is going to join us to start off next hour. It is the Tay and J Show.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%. APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
The hunt is on, and Gander Mountain has the best deals on the hunting gear you need. From guns and bows to camo and calls, we have all the new products from the best brands, plus Gander exclusives to take you from knockdown to drag out. So gear up at Gander Mountain and get after it. This week, select scent elimination and deer attracting products from Tinks, Dead Downwind, and Buck Bomb are just $6.99. We live for this. We live outdoors. Gander Mountain.
Hi, I'm Gary Knight from Carmack Honda in Danville. Just 40 years ago, Carmack Honda delivered our first 1976 Honda Accord and has been recognized as an award-winning family sedan ever since. Safety, dependability, and fuel efficiency make people love their Hondas, and Cub fans love their Cubbies, and only a way Cub fans can believe. So when you're shopping for a new Honda, believe in Carmack Honda to get you the very best price, service, and selection. Check us out today at CarmackHonda.com.
Whatever you're anxious to text or check can wait. It's not worth the consequences. Here's a friendly reminder before you get pulled over or worse, kill someone. Put your phone down while you're driving. Don't text, don't check email, don't check the weather, don't check Facebook. You are operating a deadly machine while you're driving. Whatever you're anxious to text or check can wait. It's not worth the consequences. This message was brought to you by Signature Homes, where you can count on quality construction. Call Signature Homes today.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Jasper Engines and Transmissions offers a cost-effective solution to your present engine or transmission trouble. Avoid a costly new car purchase or high lease payments by putting new life into your present vehicle. Let Hanson's Auto Repair install a Jasper remanufactured engine or transmission with a 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide warranty and available premium service plan. Call or visit Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana, open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, online at hansonsautorepair.com.
If there's one race you watch this year, this is it.
4 drivers, all with an opportunity to win the title later today.
Jimmy Johnson makes his run for a record-tying 7th championship, rising to the ranks of the most revered legends of the sport.
Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty, emerged victorious.
The Sprint Cup Championship, Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, I gave in. I ate the popcorn here at Game Day Spirit. It's just one of the bonuses. It is Tay and J College Game Day. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter. We are live at Game Day Spirit in Campus Town. We'll be here until 6 o'clock.
Brandon Paul in town, your favorite 76er.
Is he really?
Or former 76er.
Does he count as a former 76er?
Sure.
He
had a contract.
He was on the, that's true.
Paid. He got paid by them. So Brandon Paul is in town tonight. He'll be at the Detroit Mercy game. Of course, we're kind of in the afterglow of Jeremiah Tillman's. Finally signing that piece of paper.
That's huge, isn't it?
And joining the Illini makes it a definite top 15 class. We'll see where it comes out because there's a lot of kids that still haven't signed that will sign the second signing period. That's a month long starting in April. Actually, that's the normal signing period. There's the early signing period in basketball, which I wonder if we'll ever get in football.
Yeah,
some football coaches are all for it. Schools like Illinois love it because they could already have a bunch of these guys that are committed right now. Or do you just keep to where you have now, or just in the February?
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and I know, like you said, a lot of programs like Illinois would love that. As for Tillman, here we are the day after, and it's kind of setting in, Carp, to me. Yesterday it was all about just getting the 5-star. Today it was more of, all right, what's he going to bring to this team? Even though we discussed that yesterday, I started thinking to myself, this kid, I remember watching him in a couple of those tournaments, that they had.
Nationals.
Exactly. So, you saw what he could do. And he was injured a lot, obviously, so we didn't see a lot. But it'll be interesting to see his low post moves, what he can do down low for Illinois.
And at a minimum, the 5 is not a position of weakness next year, which it was shaping up to be that. Or worst case, you were probably going to put guys out of position there and have Michael Finke. I don't want to call them wasted minutes, but you know how much more effective he is at the stretch 4 than if you try to put him down in the 5. And he's still going to have to get minutes down there, but not 25 a game.
Sure.
Just spot minutes when Tillman can't be out there. And then, of course, it's the encouraging thing about knowing that he's going to come in. There's going to be certain parts of his game that are raw, but he's not an entirely raw player. I don't think you get that 5-star ranking if you're going to be a 2-year project. There is going to be an immediate impact, and I'm excited to see him, especially when you get into mid-February, and the game kind of slows down for him.
He's not Anthony Davis. He's not DeMarcus Cousins, but he's also not Mav Morgan. Right?
Right.
That's the difference between a 5-star center that you're talking about, Carb. He's not going to light the world on fire his first year. But can he average 10-6 or 10-7 for you? Yeah, something like that. I could see that. I don't know if he's that good of a rebounder, but he's a skilled, athletic big man that needs time to probably get his body into shape and get used to Big Ten play. You would have liked him to play one more year at Longmire Prep, where he would have had to fight for the ball, kind of know his role a little bit more. But East St. Louis, he wants to steal the Mr. Basketball away from Jordan Goodwin. He said that yesterday. So, no, I think he's going to be a very good player, the type of post player you need, but he's a piece of the puzzle. He's not the guy who's going to bring you to by himself, like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis went to Kentucky, and even though he had talent around him, he was the reason they won the national championship. That's not what Jeremiah Tillman is. But Tillman's a huge piece of the puzzle, just like Thomas Bryant was for Indiana, like Diamond Stone was for Maryland.
It's funny, I was about ready to talk about the two comps you brought up yesterday. With Diamond Stone's a bigger guy, right, in terms of girth.
Better offensive player at that time. I mean, he was a top 5 prospect in the country.
Thomas Bryant is built similar to Tillman, right? And last year I think he went 11-5. I think is what he averaged as a freshman year. And then I remember thinking, he's back. Like I'm thinking, only Indiana would get that lucky, right? Well, guess what? This is what Illinois is hoping for with Tillman. If he can do Bryant-like stats, Illinois fans are going to be excited.
And the better comp, I heard Derek Piper say this, Noah Vonleh.
Oh, yeah.
Of Indiana.
Absolutely.
I think that's a decent comp. Not as athletic, but, Deontay Davis kind of last year at Michigan State should have come back for another year.
Agree.
He didn't. But I think Noah Vonleh is probably a decent comp for Illini fans.
Guy playing in the NBA right now, right? Noah Vonleh. So that's another thing, Carp, is that you're looking at a guy like Tillman that down the road could finally update that NBA stat for Illinois basketball.
Think about James Augustine his freshman year.
Yes.
I don't know what the numbers were, maybe like 8 and 6. And yeah, you had Brian Cook right next to you, so it was much easier for James Augustine. But then again, what is Illinois' position of strength next year? The 4. I mean, you don't have a Brian Cook, but at the very least, you do have big guys down there. And whether LeBron Black, maybe a bit undersized, but the athleticism makes up for it. So he's not going to be shouldering the entire load down in the post.
Well, and you need a 5th-year transfer.
Yes, and now
a 5th-year transfer there,
and it's so much nicer going into that market looking for a supplemental piece and not someone that you need, and otherwise you're going to be terrible. It just takes a lot of pressure off.
Because Tillman's likely an 18 to 25 minute a game guy, right? Not a 30 minute a game guy. They need someone else to complement there, and think he can do it for a couple minutes.
He would, yeah, for sure.
So who's the next guy you guys like? Who's your? Well, I'm not going to ask Lon who his guy is because they never get his guy.
No, that's true.
So Carp, who's your guy?
Io DeSunmo, program changer, the program changer.
I think it's DeSunmu.
DeSunmu.
I just
Mayan
say the Morgan. Right.
Abu Kaga.
I just say the Morgan Park point guard. Okay. Yeah, he's got to be the guy, right? Even though you feel comfortable now with Frazier and Lucas going forward, if you can add a guy like that, now you're talking a whole different level.
That's next level kind of stuff for Illinois basketball.
All right, next hour we're going to start it off talking some Illini hoop with Jordan Burnfield, ESPN 3, 670 The Score. He's on the call tonight of the Illinois game. We'll also talk some baseball with Jordan Burnfield. We'll do it next. It's Tay and J, College Game Day.
Honda presents ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Pick up the 2017 Accord complete with Bluetooth streaming audio at the Happy Honda Day sales event. Or 2. Build a life-size gingerbread house.
What you think, honey?
Delicious.
Okay, that's a load-bearing wall.
So good.
Nothing's quite as magical as a great deal on the Honda Accord. Best-selling car in America. Well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Based on IHS Automotive CYTD December 2015 non-luxury traditional midsize segment new retail registrations in the U.S. See dealer for financing details.
Ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Bake cookies for the whole neighborhood.
We're going to need more cooling racks.
Or 2. Get the super versatile 2016 CRV at the Happy Honda Day sales event. The Honda CRV, a 2016 KBB.com Best Buy. Well-qualified buyers can enjoy 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Visit your Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
For more information, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelly Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelly Blue Book Co. Inc. See dealer for financing details.
Hello, this is Matt Carr from First Bank and Trust. At First Bank, we believe relationships are the one constant in the ever-changing banking landscape. You bank with who you trust, and you trust who you know. With over a century of serving communities in East Central Illinois, we've had the good fortune of knowing customers and their families for generations. We want to take the stress and hassle out of banking wherever and whenever you need it. Visit the new FirstBankTrust.com today and discover what banking local can mean for you. First Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Provident. This is Eric Bolin with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
snow blows. And Chambana Sales will keep it blowing all winter long with powerful Boss V plows and Aaron snow blowers that will throw snow up to 50 feet away. Need that extra boost on your V plow? Chambana Salt Spreaders will keep that ice melting all winter long. For Boss plows and Aaron snow blowers, plus service on all major brands, get to Chambana Sales and Service, 3310 North Mattis, just north of I-74. Blow and melt that snow away this winter with ChambanaSales.com.
If there's one race you watch this year, this is it.
4 drivers, all with an opportunity to win the title later today.
Jimmy Johnson makes his run for a record-tying 7th championship, rising to the ranks of the most revered legends of the sport.
Dale Earnhardt, Richard Petty emerged victorious.
The Sprint Cup Championship, Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. Candidate Donald Trump made it clear he's not a fan of settling lawsuits.
That's why I don't get sued very often, because I don't settle.
But as president-elect, he's apparently now willing to settle a lawsuit over Trump University. Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal has this live.
Lisa, President-elect Trump will settle 3 cases against Trump University, including 2 in San Diego and another in New York. The New York Attorney General called the settlement a stunning reversal and a victory for thousands of victims who will receive restitution. The state of New York will get $1 million. Last week, after Mr. Trump was elected, an attorney told the judge in the San Diego case that they might be open to a settlement, but if not, they'd be asking for a delay in trial. Students had sued alleging fraud, saying Trump University didn't teach much, but did try to get more money out of them. Trump had pointed to positive reviews of the university as proof that the classes were solid, Lisa.
Meantime, Jessica, the president-elect holding more meetings with possible appointees this weekend at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey.
Among those confirmed meetings, former District of Columbia Schools Chief Michelle Rhee, a possibility as Education Secretary, and retired Marine Corps General James Mattis, a potential contender for Defense Secretary.
Fox Radio's John Decker at the White House. The Wall Street Journal reporting that other potential defense chief contenders include former CIA director and retired General David Petraeus, who was accused of giving classified information to his mistress, ultimately pleading guilty to a misdemeanor. Zika, no longer considered a world health emergency. The UN's health agency lifting the emergency declaration it made 9 months ago, now advocating a long-term approach to dealing with the virus, which is blamed for birth defects in nearly 30 countries. Lackluster end to the week on Wall Street. The Dow down 35 points. On the Fox Reports, fair and balanced.
And now, insurance-minded speeches from GEICO.
Let's talk about power. To illustrate this, allow me to tell you a story about how I moved a tow truck 25 miles using only my index finger. I was stranded with a flat tire. I opened the GEICO app. Then, with a few taps of my finger, I beckoned emergency roadside assistance and a tow truck to my car. I invite you all to unleash the full potential of your fingertips with the GEICO app. Thank you.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
The Department of Homeland Security warning of the potential for terror threats during the holiday season, also offering advice to help keep airport security lines moving.
The Thanksgiving weekend is really shaping up to be a record for air travelers. They're looking at about 3 million a day beginning on Wednesday, with the peak being Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. The threat information suggests that the non-metallic devices still continue to be a risk, and so travelers are reminded not to bring liquids in their bags because, as we all know, that slows down the screening process.
Fox's Catherine Herridge. ISIS still putting up heavy resistance as Iraqi forces try to retake the city of Mosul.
Today, the fighting resumed in an area called the Tahrir district, which is, if you look at a map, it's on the northeastern edge of the city. But Iraqi commanders say that they are proceeding cautiously because of the thousands of civilians that remain in these areas, with many trying to escape.
Fox's John Huddy monitoring from the Mideast Bureau in Jerusalem. A top concern continues to be ISIS using civilians as human shields. A Minnesota daycare provider accused of trying to hang a 1-year-old boy at the daycare center, then trying to jump from a freeway overpass. Minneapolis police say the suspect was sent to a local hospital for evaluation. The baby was doing okay. For Colorado ski areas, this is welcome news.
There are blizzard warnings through tonight from the eastern Dakotas to parts of central Minnesota.
Yeah, it promises to be some pretty decent storm, and as the low-pressure system deepens, the winds are really going to pick up.
Bruce Sullivan, senior forecaster with the National Weather Service, says parts of Minnesota could see up to 1 foot of snow, 3 to 8 inches elsewhere and into the weekend, with advisories and winter storm warnings that stretch from eastern Colorado to northern Michigan.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso. Some treacherous road conditions reported, though, in New York. I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. If you need a heating expert, and I think this weekend you will, give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. It got to 70 today. It's going to get to 33 overnight.
What was some of that wind today?
Pretty nuts. And it's going to be
with the wind?
I mean, come on. Tomorrow it's going to be even more nuts. 24 mile per hour consistently, with wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour out of the west. Pretty good crosswind. Going to be a lot of running plays tomorrow, probably, with a high of 43, but it's going to feel like the upper 20s, low of 25 tomorrow night. And Sunday, sunny, 43, less of a wind, 25 the low. Thanksgiving shaping up to be about mid-40s and sunny. Right now, it is 57, cloudy. We are live at Game Day Spirit in Campus Town.
It is Tay and J College Game Day. Lon Tay, Jeremy Werner, Mike Carpenter. I want to thank the sponsors of Tay and J College Game Day: Honda BMW of Champaign, Chief Bauer, JSM, Champaign Center Partnership, Busey Bank, Game Day Spirit, Shambana Sales, and DP Doe.
Fighting a cold.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I got a runny nose.
Right.
Like, so if I turn my mic off or hear some blowing in the background, that's me. And, of course, it comes on the double weekend of Illinois basketball and Illinois football.
And a lot of times, though, with a baby like Torrin, you can just tell them, hey, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to go ahead and sleep.
Exactly.
Oh, and they work right with you on that.
I woke up twice last night with him, and I'm happy because I get to spend some time with him.
But still.
But, yeah, it would have been nice to get like an 8 or 9 hours sleep last night.
Sometimes it's nice to just sleep.
Had to get him up and get him and the wife out the door. And, of course, I had too much work to do to take a nap. So,
oh, man. It's you know, it's just
hashtag dad life.
Right. And you just fight it, because it's not like you're looking down 4 days from now going, oh, I'll just sleep in that day.
Because no one feels sorry
for
you.
Not at all. I did it twice somehow, and I don't know how I made it to this point, but I did it.
Let's get to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. Welcome on one of our favorite guests on the Tay and J Show. He's Jordan Burnfield. You know him from 670 The Score, but he's on the call for Illinois Detroit Mercy tonight for ESPN3. Jordan, thanks for joining us, man.
Happy to do it, guys. Down here in Champaign, just got out of the Illini shoot-around, so getting ready to go. And that rainstorm earlier, by the way, was not expecting that. Thankfully, I'm not wearing my suit yet because I got my jeans soaked on my way into the arena. So these are the things you worry about when you're doing a game, whether you're going to have dry clothing to go on television with.
Well, Jordan, I don't know a lot about Detroit Mercy.
No.
I doubt our fans do. You have to know a little bit about them after seeing the shoot-around, probably talking to the team a little bit. What can Illinois fans expect tonight?
Well, this is a Detroit team, guys, that is under first-year coach Bakari Alexander. Of course, Ray McCallum was there for a while, and Bakari taking over now. This is a team that lost its top scorer from last year in Paris Bass. They also lost Anton Wilson, who is the sharpshooting guard, and they also lost Carlton Brundage, who is their sort of sixth man, if you will, as a point guard. So they did lose a lot from last year's team. They do like some of the youngsters that they have, Corey Allen being one of them, who's probably going to start tonight. But this team still does have a lot of athleticism, and Chris Jenkins certainly is one guy you'll have to watch. But it's also a team that I think can score a lot, but is going to struggle to defend. And I think that if the Illini can play defense to the point where they can sort of frustrate Detroit from a shooting perspective, the Illini are going to be able to score fairly easily.
Well, and Jordan, you're able to watch Illinois shoot around. What kind of struck you? What's intriguing about this team now that you've had a chance to kind of look at them and give the eye test? Of course, tonight will be a better eye test on the actual court during the game. But what kind of intrigues you about this Illini squad?
Well, what intrigues me a lot is that this is a really deep team, I think, this year. And I don't have to tell you guys, the last few years of Illini basketball, there have been so many injuries that it has really hampered their depth. It's also really hampered kind of the plan that they wanted to utilize to win games during the season. Just talking to John Gross, he really felt like, a couple of years ago, this is a team that was, kind of poised to do some big things, but injuries have really hurt them. And when you think about it, guys, and what other program in the country could have 2 six-year players on a basketball team? That's such a rare commodity. But with Thorne and with Abrams, the Illini have it, and particularly with Abrams, who's been with Illinois all 6 years. What's kind of amazing is that a guy like Tracy Abrams was on the Illini when Brandon Paul scored 43 points, and Bruce Weber's last year, I believe. And he was also on the team for Malcolm Hill, scoring 40 points just a couple of games ago. So it's kind of amazing when you think about how long he's been here. So I think that this is a year where Illinois has a lot of experience. They have some really interesting young players like Coleman Lands, obviously, who can shoot the ball really well back. And they have a really interesting recruiting class coming in, obviously, as you guys know, with Tillman signing yesterday. So I think Illinois is kind of in an interesting position right now where they are very deep and they are very experienced, and they have a lot of good players coming in next year. So I think that if everything goes right for Illinois, this could be a very good team.
Yeah, it's kind of that take a leap year for Illinois basketball, so we'll see what they can do. Jordan, you're kind of a baseball guy. I kind of label you as, but what's the challenge of calling a basketball game since you've kind of done both? How are both different, and what's the challenge of a basketball game?
Well, for basketball, it's it can be very different whether it's TV or radio. But for me, when I'm doing a game on television, you really just I'm there to set up my analyst. I'm there to provide the stats and the facts and things like that. But I'm working with Mark Adams tonight, who's great, and I think that he's a guy that certainly will be able to break down the game. He has so many connections in basketball from his years coaching and his years as a college basketball analyst that I'm there to kind of set him up so he can break things down. And I really enjoy doing it. It's so much fun to be a part of these broadcasts. And, I went to college in a big college basketball atmosphere. So this is something that I really enjoy doing. And really, it's about trying to learn as much as you can about every player, because obviously in this game tonight, we know that Malcolm Hill is one of the featured players. We know that for Detroit, Chris Jenkins is one of the featured players, but it's also when somebody else gets to the free throw line that may not be one of the stars of the team, having that right thing to say about them at the right time. And so I always tell people that I'm over-prepped, sort of maniacally prepared, because there's a million ways in which you could watch a broadcast and immediately conclude that the broadcaster's an idiot, and I'm trying to eliminate as many of those as possible throughout the game.
If you ever get stuck, you could just say, Tracy Abrams, big fan of the Tay and J Show.
Yeah. He's also older than Bryce. He's also older than Bryce Harper, Myers Leonard. I did a whole list of guys before, but yeah, he's older than a lot of people.
Well, we were just talking about this to give you the baseball connection over at the gym, that he's older than I think 5 Cubs that just won the World Series. So it's a pretty amazing thing, Tracy Abrams. But I think that the mentorship that he's shown, the leadership that he's showing with this group, just talking to some of the coaches, they really like what he's been able to do. And listen, he's suffered 2 major injuries, but if he can come back and give them the kind of year that they're hoping for, I think he could end up being a really valuable player for the Illini.
Jordan Burnfield, ESPN 3, 670 The Score. I want to ask you a little bit about baseball as well, as we had the MVP and the Cubs get it. Chris Bryant, near unanimous. Yes. Somebody voted for Daniel Murphy. Would have been 2 straight years in the National League with unanimous MVP after Bryce Harper last year. But what was your biggest takes from the award season we just had?
Well, I think Chris Bryant was a no-brainer. I think we all knew he was going to win the MVP just because of the positional versatility and the monster offensive season that he put together. But I think that, beyond Chris Bryant, it's clear that with the Cy Young voting, with the 2 Cubs that did not win, I think it was because they really valued Max Scherzer's innings and his strikeouts. And I think that one of the things that we've noticed from the Cy Young Award voting is that things that are independent to a pitcher are becoming more valuable. And, yes, Scherzer had 20 wins, but his ERA was also about a run higher than the guy that, came in third place in the voting in Kyle Hendricks. So I think that what it says about him is that Scherzer is a guy that because of the dominance of the strikeouts in the inning, he got the edge. I also like that Mike Trout won the AL MVP because even though he was on a bad team, guy had a 10 WAR, he's the best player in the sport, and he deserves to win it because he is so incredibly valuable despite his team not being very good.
Jordan, I am just obsessed with finding out other teams' prospects right now because that's all us White Sox fans have to look forward to. I mean, this offseason is so interesting. The Chris Sale domino is just the biggest domino, I think, of this offseason. Just what has interested you? Because it feels like the Dodgers, Red Sox, maybe the Astros, who've been really busy.
Sure.
Seems like there's enough out there and enough teams that are desperate for a pitcher like Chris Sale. I mean, the Dodgers, if they would have had Sale, would they have finished off the Cubs? The Red Sox, if they had him, would they have gotten through the next round? What do you think the market is going to be like for him?
Well, I mean, I think that the market's going to continue to be insane for Chris Sale, and it should be because who wouldn't want Chris Sale just from a pitching standpoint? I know that he's, had issues where he's a little bit of a hothead and whatnot, but, Chris Sale is obviously one of the best pitchers in the sport, and anybody would want to add him to their team. I think that the Dodgers might have the prospect route to put together a package to get a guy like Sale. I think the Nationals might have that. I think the question, though, with the Nationals is whether they're going to want to move some of the guys that the White Sox might want to get in a kind of trade like that, namely somebody like Trey Turner. I don't know if the Nationals are going to be willing to move him. If they are, then I think that that might be a potential move. And you know that Mike Rizzo is always willing to kind of be as aggressive as he needs to be, regardless of kind of the financial ramifications of it and whatnot. So I think that that could be something there. And I think, too, that, there's going to be a lot of other teams that are going to want Chris Sale. I think, though, that it's going to be interesting to see how much the White Sox demand in a deal because you're never going to get equal value for Sale. But if you're also looking for 5 players, is a team going to want him that bad to trade 5 players to get him? So I think that's going to be kind of one of the things here. Because you can't get equal value, it's going to be interesting to see whether a team is going to be willing to trade that many bodies just to get Sale.
Jordan Burnfield, I know we got to let you go. Keep that crispy, silky smooth voice ready for the Illini game tonight. But real quick to the Cubs. I read something today about Jorge Soler. Might be a guy that could be traded.
It's a great problem to have.
Right.
To figure out how do we get all these guys into the lineup.
And you've got so many people in our area, Jordan, that sit there and say, boy, Schwarber needs to be in the American League. And I'm like, wow, because you're a Cardinal fan and we don't want to face him. Exactly. Do you see any moves by the Cubs and any kind of a big move?
I don't think there's going to be a real big move. The only way I could see the Cubs making a big move is if they were to make a trade for a controllable young starting pitcher. If they were to try to go out and get a guy like a Chris Archer, let's say, and add to their starting rotation. Now, if they were going to do that, I think that certainly Soler would be a guy on the move. I could see potentially, a guy like Baez or somebody else on the move because, like you guys said, the Cubs are in a position where they have a lot of good players, and I don't think they can play them all. And because you have Ben Zobrist under contract for the next 3 years, and you figure he's probably going to play second base at least a decent amount because that's what they told him that he was going to be when they signed him. And additionally, I don't know that you want him in an outfield spot full time. You're not going to put him in center, I don't think. So I think that there are going to be a couple of moves. Major, I'm not sure. The Cubs might just go into next season with Albert Almora in center field, but I do feel like they're going to try to address the pitching staff because, guys, we know that Jake Arrieta is a free agent after next year. John Lackey's a free agent and probably going to retire after next year. So that's 2 spots in the rotation that are going to open up. This may not be the offseason where they do it, but I do think that within the next year or two, they are going to make a big deal.
Yeah, let's get those years here earlier, okay? Earlier than later. Jordan Burnfield, ESPN3, 670 The Score. Follow him on Twitter at Jordan Burnfield. We'll be listening tonight, Jordan. Have fun calling the Illini game.
All right, thanks, guys. It'll be a lot of fun.
All right, thank you very much for joining us as well. He took the time down here in Champaign, kind of between shoot-arounds for Detroit Mercy and also, of course, Illinois tonight, the game at State Farm Center.
Did you ever have an off season like that I'm having right now? You know, where you were just standing by. I mean, the Cubs had it last year, right? You knew the Cubs were going to make their move. Man. The White Sox in the opposite way, right? It's going to be a rebuild. But this is going to determine, this offseason is going to determine, most likely, if they trade one of these guys, their future for the next 5 or 6 years.
Correct.
Because the guys you acquire for a Sale or a Quintana or anybody else are the people you're building around. So that's why, I'm so antsy. I don't think it's going to happen until probably December, January, though, because they're going to let that market come to them. And they should. They should be patient. They got these guys under control for 3-4 years left.
My biggest weakness in life is going back and hearkening memories and thoughts, and I just can't do it.
Well,
I don't know why.
The Cardinals have always kind of replenished themselves.
They really have.
And that's what the White Sox need to get to. You don't have to do these massive off seasons. So, when you have the chance, you add a piece.
You do, and it seemed like the Cardinals were in that point where, there were years where they'd add Will Clark, they'd add Larry Walker.
Pujols off season.
Yep, Carlos Beltran Pujols. That was big. I remember back with the Ron Gant, Brian Jordan days and stuff, Ray Lankford, when they were kind of making the move from Lankford to next. It was just interesting things, but it never seemed like it was a complete – I know they had those years. In the 90s, they weren't very good, but it didn't seem like there was ever this major overhaul.
But even just the Pujols thing.
Yeah.
Were you, glued and just frantic about that every day?
Well, no, because they really locked him up. I mean, from the get-go. Is that what you mean?
No, I mean when he left.
Oh, when he left. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think that would be the comparison.
Great point, because that was that's when you were fighting it to say, all right, I don't want to spend this much money, and I get it that he's going to sign for too long, and I know at the end of that contract, the last 2-3 years, you're going to eat it, basically. But you know me, and I've said it from day one, I never wanted to get rid of Albert Pujols. I didn't. And I joke about it and say he's our Babe Ruth, Carp, because the Cardinals haven't won one since he left. Now, I hope this doesn't happen.
Pretty dang close.
They have been very close, but he was a guy that just meant so much in that lineup, and I thought you could get 2 or 3 or 4 really good years more out of Pujols, but unfortunately, you're going to have to pay, you had to pay him for 8-9 years.
And I think you wanted him just to retire a Cardinal.
I did.
You wanted his statue next to Stan.
Totally.
That's why Trout will never be traded.
Yeah, good call.
The Angels want that statue. Yep. They want Trout to be the angel for all time.
And you know who's going to be on that statue now? Yachty.
Yeah.
Yachty Molina might be that statue now. He'll be out there.
Yachty's phenomenal.
But he's not Stan.
He's not Pujols or
not
Stan.
But he'll get one of those little statues. They have the little ones.
The step down statue?
Yes, the step down statue. That'll be Yachty Molina. But he's such
a
fan favorite.
Next to Stan?
Is Mike Trout the next Ted Williams? And what I mean by that is he's going to go his entire career and toil away for a franchise that has literally no hopes or aspirations of winning a world championship.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Because from what I remember,
scary,
Ted Williams, those Red Sox teams were not very good. And I don't think he ever made a World Series. I don't think. I'd have to go back and look. But it just seems like that's kind of the trajectory of this.
Yeah,
that he's going to just spend his entire career out there. And worst of all is that because it's a West Coast guy, West Coast team, that on the East Coast, Central Time Zone, how often do we watch him?
No, that's the problem. That's why I get angry. I mean, I get angry about this that I don't get to watch Mike Trout more often, and I hate it because here he is every year. He's the best player in baseball, and I hardly get. Now I could stay up, but I can't. I just can't do it.
Well, you don't want to watch the rest of the Angels.
No, exactly.
So I mean, it makes it a little bit less of a appointment television.
Hit 240 and hit 40 homers every year.
Hit 40 bombs for the Angels. That's interesting. But Trout's one of these guys. Do we know when his contract is up?
He just signed a 6-year deal.
Okay,
a year ago. So he's there for 6-7
He's locked
6 years, $140 million.
And they'll pay him whatever he wants.
Yep.
And at some point, if he wants to leave, obviously he'll have that opportunity. But I don't think he will either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a great market there. And by that time, you hope they can start building around him more because Pujols will be gone. The C.J. Wilson deal killed.
Oh, my gosh.
Josh Hamilton.
Oh.
Yep.
I mean, those are the kind of deals that just crush that organization.
And Mike Trout, a East Coast guy. He's a Pennsylvania guy. Yep. I think it's Pennsylvania, but he's from East Coast, and it's funny that might spend his whole career in the West.
It used to be a model franchise, too. You look from 2001, of course, 2002 they won the World Series, and then I think in 2005 they had another really good team, and Mike Scioscia was the manager. And
didn't they have the rally monkey or something?
Yes, yes, they did.
Did you like the monkey more or the squirrel?
Oh, I don't know.
They're both stupid.
They were both
and they were
stupid.
also the first ones to introduce thunder sticks.
Yes, I remember the thunder sticks.
Yell. No Thundersticks. No rally towels. None of that crap.
I always love to know what annoys Mike Carpenter.
Thundersticks.
It's always
I think, honestly, more than anything, and I would remember watching it with my
That's
dad.
number one on your list.
Number one. Out of, yeah.
They
yeah.
must have beaten the Yankees one year.
Twice.
Oh, okay.
2002, 2005. Anytime he went out to that stadium, that Disney-fied baseball stadium, they had the Thundersticks. And my dad and I hate the Thundersticks.
You know what else he's going to love if Illinois makes a good run this year?
Yes.
Gets to a Sweet 16. Jeremiah Tillman's here. He's going to love everything John Gross says.
Oh, yeah.
Everything.
No.
Synchronization. Toughness. Yeah, we just were tough today.
Got out tough today. And, on the
Seniors
rebound.
die hard.
No, that will take a while. That will take a while. But you know what? Hey, I'll absorb the blows as they come.
Exactly.
And just take the toughness and togetherness in stride.
You can handle it. All right, coming up next, Illinois, of course, and Iowa tomorrow at 11 a.m. They kick off at Memorial Stadium. When we come back, we're going to do some over-unders for this game. Wes Lunt back in the starting lineup. He's going to lead us off on the over-unders. We'll do it next. It is Tay and J College Game Day.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
I am one of those geniuses who will not be recognized until fully recognized till after my time.
For every time I heard that line.
I love the Saints uniforms last night. Mm-hmm. And as a rule, I love the Color Rush uniforms.
I do too.
I think people hate them.
They absolutely hate them.
Every single Thursday, the number one trending topic for the first 10 minutes of the Thursday Night Football is how awful the Color Rush uniforms are. I got to tell you, with almost no exceptions, including the ones that have been the most criticized, I kind of like them.
I like them too. I absolutely like them.
And I thought the Saints last night, I thought that the white on white against the powder blue on powder blue,
right.
I thought that made for an excellent viewing experience.
I'm with you. And they get crushed all the time. And I am never one that crushes. I like them.
Hear more from Mike and Mike Monday morning on ESPN Radio.
Stuff your stockings with big savings right now at Lowe's. Hurry in today to get a jump start on great Black Friday deals for your home. Like 15% off select in-stock artificial Christmas specialty trees and wreaths. Plus get 15% off all in-stock inflatables. Don't miss out on all of the great deals happening right now at Lowe's. Offers valid 11/16 through 11/23 while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See store for details. U.S. only. The holidays have arrived, and gentlemen, it's the perfect time for you to arrive in style. Hurry into JCPenney during our men's wardrobe sale and get 50% off select suit separates, sport coats, dress pants, and top coats. Gear up with an extra 20% off select items with your JCPenney credit card and coupon. It's the perfect way to step up your game this holiday season. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. Coupon required. About 11/17 to 11/19. 20% offer subject to credit approval. Some exclusions apply. Check jcp.com for coupon and details.
Honda presents ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Take home a 2017 Civic with Bluetooth streaming audio at the Happy Honda Day sales event. Or 2. Put eggnog in all your recipes.
Look, kids, eggnog a lasagna.
Nothing's quite as magical as great holiday deals on the Honda Civic, the best-selling compact car in its class. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Based on IHS Automotive CYTD December 2015 non-luxury traditional compact segment, new retail registrations in the U.S. See dealer for financing details.
Ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Bake cookies for the whole neighborhood.
We're going to need more cooling racks.
Or 2. Get the super versatile 2016 CRV at the Happy Honda Day sales event. The Honda CRV, a 2016 KBB.com Best Buy. Well-qualified buyers can enjoy 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Visit your Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
For more information, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelly Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelly Blue Book Co. Inc. See dealer for financing details.
Treat your little princess to her first date at the Junior League of Champaign-Urbana's Daddy-Daughter Dance. This signature event kicks off the 21st Annual Festival of Trees on Friday, November 18th. This year, there's going to be 2 seatings to choose from. First from 5:30 to 7 p.m. and the second from 7:30 to 9 p.m. Tickets are on sale now for $25 per person. Children under 3 are free. Register for the Daddy-Daughter Dance by visiting juniorleaguecu.org or by calling 356-5880. Festival of Trees is sponsored in part by this station's parent company, Stevie J Broadcasting.
From a luxury studio to a 5-bedroom apartment, hunting for your next place to live is always easy when you sign a lease with JSM. They have locations all over campus. JSM keeps you close to classes and close to the quad. And they have lots of apartments near sorority and fraternity houses. Spacious layouts, newly renovated features, JSMLiving.com. And if you sign with JSM, you're able to sign up for the JSM VIP program where you receive discounts from local restaurants and stores. So what are you waiting for? Go to JSMLiving.com. That's JSMLiving.com today.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
I'm Austin Berkland. Here's today's 4:30 Sports Center update. A day after the Jeremiah Tillman signing, the Illini opened up against Detroit Mercy tonight. The Illini won their last game against McKendree, in which they made 16 threes, which tied a school record. Detroit ranks 269th in the latest KenPom rankings. The game will be at 7 p.m. on ESPN's streaming service, ESPN3.com. The Fighting Illini football team will honor their seniors this Saturday as part of the Senior Day festivities as the Illini take on the 6-4 Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa's coming off a last-second win against the then-ranked number 2 Michigan Wolverines. Illinois will be starting quarterback Wes Lunt. The game is at 11 a.m. Saturday on Big Ten Network. The Chicago Bears are back in action on Sunday against the New York Giants. The Bears last week lost in a 36-10 blowout to the Chris Conte-led Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 6-3 Giants are on a 4-game win streak that the Bears will try to break. That game will be played at noon Sunday on Fox. Jimmy Butler led the Bulls in scoring with 20 points and in rebounds with 12 in an 85-77 win over the Utah Jazz. Dwayne Wade added 18 points. The next Bulls game is in the infamous circus trip that they have gone 3-0 in so far this season, is at the Staples Center against the Clippers. The game will be broadcast on NBA TV at 9:30 Saturday. The MVP awards were given out last night, and Chris Bryant won the NL award, collecting 29 out of 30 first-place votes. Murphy finished second, and Corey Seager finished third. And Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo finished fourth. Don't worry, Cardinal fans, Yadi Molina did get 2 10th-place votes. On the AL side, Mike Trout was awarded the MVP. The Red Sox' Mookie Betts finished second. Jose Altuve finished third. I think Katie Upton is happy with these awards. And in other baseball news, Andrew Kashner signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Texas Rangers.
That trade's certainly working out for the Padres.
Remember when they were just all in?
Remember when they had Anthony Rizzo?
Oh, man.
Jeez.
Way to go, San Diego.
Kashner for Rizzo.
And is Kashner the guy that hurt? Is he a pitcher?
Yeah, he's a pitcher.
Yeah, he's the guy that hurt like 6 Cardinals this year, isn't he? Yeah. Little punk.
And then we brought it up. Jeff Luhnow.
Yes.
He picked not Chris Bryant, number 1. Mark Appel,
the
number
pitcher.
1, and couldn't even sign him over Chris Bryant.
And then the day, and Derek Gould wrote about this down in, it was either Derek Gould or Jeff Gordon at the Post-Dispatch in St. Louis. The day that Bryant's named MVP, Luhnow goes crazy, just making all these deals, almost like he's trying to hide Bryant under the sheets. But it's unbelievable what transpires. And when you think about that Cubs team, even with Arrieta, that Baltimore gave up on him. You've got Dexter Fowler, a guy that had essentially signed with Baltimore and then decided, wait, I'll go back and sign with the Cubs. It's amazing, those little things, Carter.
Yeah.
But that's what you have to have happen to win a World Series.
The entire trajectory of, not to get hyperbolic here, but baseball history. I mean, we just witnessed baseball history. That does not happen if Chris Bryant isn't on that team. And you look back, and there was an argument to be made for not selecting Chris Bryant number 1, I suppose. But that guy, I mean, even just
there are people in Chicago, and I remember a lot of Cubs fans were talking about this. We were here when this draft was happening, and everyone's like, "Gotta go get a pitcher."
Yes,
Jonathan Gray or whoever it was, go get him. You need a pitcher, and it's like you just take the best player available. You get the most talent, and that's what they did. They said Schwarber's the best player.
Yep,
we want him more than Aaron Nola.
Yeah,
and Nola's a good pitcher, but it seems like Schwarber's going to work out.
And that was because, of course, you're talking Bryant, but that Schwarber deal. The Cubs had the 4th pick, and the White Sox had the 3rd, I think, right? And you got Rodon.
Rodon.
I always say it wrong.
I mix them up too.
I do too.
Tyler Kolek went number.
Yes,
and another high school pitcher went ahead, and then both them hurt.
I'll never forget sitting in the station, and you were podcasting, I think, and I was watching YouTube video of Carlos.
Yeah.
And I came back to you, and I'm like, dude.
He was really good.
I said, he's got John Luster's cutter. He'll get in on your hands.
And the White Sox need to be that bad so they can get more guys like that again.
And then the Cubs select Schwarber fourth. And, of course, we had watched him a little bit with Indiana as the catcher there, and now you put him in that lineup, and wow.
Juan is a Cardinals fan. Chris Bryant, he's a very likable guy.
Very.
He is tailor-made. I mean, just even his look, all of that.
Married in January.
Right. I mean, he's like, usually he'd be too perfect.
Yeah.
I would dislike someone like that
Right.
because he's the kind that people say that should be your role model.
There's really.
Well, maybe you should be. I mean, that guy. I have not seen. I cannot remember at least a superstar in any professional sport that literally top to bottom just oozed superstar.
Amen.
Like it's just. Chris Bryant.
He's the all-American boy.
He really is.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is. And I think you're just as you're going to ask me, like, do you not like him? But you can't.
Right.
This is a likable Cubs team.
That's what I kept.
I mean,
Except
Rizzo's
for
likable.
Chapman. Except for the whole Chapman thing.
Maybe Pedro Strop if he put his
how
hat
can
on
you
right.
not-
We're doing that now.
I knew that'd get Jeremy's goat.
It was well done.
Yeah.
It was well done.
But really, I mean,
Rizzo.
Rizzo. Yeah, Rizzo's
Russell.
awesome. David Ross. I mean, how do you
Baez
not like
is
that
so
guy?
much fun to watch.
Yep.
I didn't like Ross for a while because I thought he was cutesy. But then I got it.
No, I get it. And I mean, I guess you could say Jason Hayward because he spurned you, I
He
guess.
didn't produce, but he's a heck of a baseball
But he's a
player.
nice he's a nice guy. No, there's really that Cubs team.
John
I hate
Lackey.
saying it, but
Oh,
yeah, Lackey.
I hate that guy.
But see,
Always
I grew to
have.
love him with the Cardinals.
When he's your guy.
Yes.
It's like A.J. Pierzynski. When he plays for your
Yep.
team,
Then
you're
he's
like,
all right. But that's true. I mean, this Cubs team, they're a likable team. I don't like them, and I don't want them to ever win again.
You are not rooting for them actively,
That
but
is correct.
it's hard to actively dislike them.
Correct.
Meanwhile, the White Sox. That's a likable bunch, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if they're likable or unlikable. They're just
Come
there.
on, what they've done though, like the LaRoche thing, the Chris Sale thing. Like,
Oh,
it's
well,
the
no,
most
you're
unlikable
right.
team.
That's good.
Okay, here's a question, because Chris Sale being the ace that he is, and obviously for the future of the franchise, you want to move him. But is there also a little bit, because I know that, was it Burnfield mentioned this, but, Chris Sale, the hothead, the guy that makes big deals.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's good because he wants to win.
Sure.
I think that's what his whole frustration is with the White Sox is all this stuff came out because, one, there's not a leader in that clubhouse. So once Konerko left, Robin Ventura just isn't that kind of guy. And that's why I'm glad he's gone. That's what I think Matheny has going for him as a manager. But Chris Sale, like, he's a petulant child at times, but he's just got to have somebody rein him in.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that on the mound because he's a fiery guy in the mound, and it really helps him.
Amen.
But I'm not. I won't be happy just to see him gone. If that's kind of what you're getting at, I'll be happy if he brings in 4 or 5 really good players who can help us more than he can.
The thing I read today on ESPN that had some of those trades, and in fact, it had the one that I had mentioned about Jorge Soler being traded. But they had the Cardinals trading for Brett Gardner for Luke Weaver.
Okay.
I don't know how interesting that would be. An outfielder, he's 33 years old, and he gets hits. I guess he gets on base.
Yeah,
I like that more
decent.
for the Yankees than the
I do too.
I mean, Brett Gardner, at this point, he is what he is.
Yeah, that's kind of.
If you need an outfielder, sure.
Plus, Gritchen could still have to stay in center.
I don't think it's an upgrade.
No, I don't either. And I think the whole move that Mozeliak makes is to get Gritchick to left and better that defense in center field. But the White Sox, they had the trade of Sale and someone else for Puig, and then 3 other.
That deal was dumb.
Right.
I saw that. It was him and David Robertson, their closer, who has value. Probably I think more midseason. And Puig was like the big piece of it with Jose De Leon. It's like Puig would be the 5th piece.
Right.
He'd be the throw-in. Like the other day, Carp, we were talking about, just throw in Yasiel Puig if you want to give him to us.
Exactly.
But we'll take him off your hands.
Did he have one good year?
He had 2 good years.
2 good years.
But he's had 2 just above average years. He's
absolutely.
an above average baseball player. Looks the part.
Yeah.
Has a big name. He'd be the 5th piece in my team.
It is amazing how enamored people are sometimes with Yasiel Puig, and really, I mean,
you can't trade Chris Sale for him being the centerpiece.
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, it's time for Illini football overs and unders. Yes. Austin back at the studio. Let's go, Austin.
How's it going, guys?
Good, man.
Good, buddy.
Good. All right, the first one, Wes Lunt passing yards 169.5. He averaged 199.5 in his first 4 starts.
I really want to go over.
He's going over. He's going over this.
Who's catching the passes?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Zach Grant.
I think Malik Turner goes for 100. Has anybody gone over 100 this year?
Malik has.
Malik has. Okay. I'll go Malik goes over 100. I'm going over 169.5.
I'm going to go with the weather excuse.
I think that's part of it, too.
Yeah. I mean, that cross one is going to be insane. You got receivers that have a hard time catching it anyways. Hard time getting open.
Right.
Against a defensive line that's good enough that it can get to Westlawn. So, I think Illinois is going to have as close to the best offensive game plan tomorrow. Just run the ball
it's
as much as they can.
Game, man. He's going to be airing it out. Why not?
Rex Grossman it.
Exactly.
No, I think you need to commit to the run.
Yes.
It hopefully opens up some play action passes for West, which is really a strength of his game. But I'm going to go under. I don't like this receiver core, and I don't like the offensive line this year.
Next one, Jeff George Jr. snaps behind center, 0.5. Started the last 4 games.
How's he doing health-wise? I mean, he wasn't
Jeff
really...
George Jr., he's fine.
Yeah,
he's fine.
Benched him.
I don't think he plays. I mean, obviously,
I hope he doesn't.
Unless Wes Lunt gets hurt. But providing Wes Lunt does not get hurt, I'm going under on this one. I don't think Jeff George sees the field.
Under.
Shades of Purdue 2014, Wes Lunt doesn't finish the game.
Ooh.
Yeah, Jeff George gets in there.
Okay, over for Carp.
A sad afternoon.
Go ahead, Austin.
All right, next one, Kendrick Foster, rushing yards 90.5. Averaged 110.5 the last 2 games.
What a story.
Yeah.
I mean, he's by far the offensive MVP
Absolutely.
of this team.
I'm going under, though.
I'm going over.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Go Kendrick Foster.
Over.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Let's have a story this year.
I think you're going to see some Corbin. You're going to see Foster, and you're going to see Keyshawn Vaughn, I think, in this one.
Really?
Keyshawn's going to come back and kind of make up a little bit for that fumble last year at Kinnick. I think the 3 of those are a little 3-headed monster there, so I don't think Kendrick goes over 90.
I think you could use the word monster with anything Illinois offense related.
Is this the last time we see Keyshawn Vaughn in Morris?
Oh,
I think probably so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's ending well. It's just you don't go from that level where if it was the old rules where you could put a jersey number that isn't the year, because the NCAA rules, it probably would have been number 5 Keyshawn Vaughn.
Yeah.
That was the most recognizable guy coming back that was not Wes Lunt.
Amen.
And it's a crazy.
And Lovey was building him up.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't producing.
Nope.
And then it seemed like he was pouting. And they wanted him to be a better teammate. And Garrick has said he's been better the last couple weeks.
Right.
But it's obvious he's not happy. I've been asking to talk to him all year.
And they won't.
He doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't want
to talk. So obviously he's not very happy.
Well, I'm going under on the Kendrick, Austin.
All right, next one, Carroll Phillips, tackles for loss 2.5. Needs 3.0 to reach 20 on the season.
C.J. Beathard is slow, right? He's just a prodder, isn't he?
Yeah, he can move
Can
a
he
little
move?
bit.
He's a mutter.
He's a mutter.
Remember? Now I say member. I do remember. Jihad Ward crushed him on the sideline. He had that long run, and Jihad Ward crushed him.
Right.
He can move a little bit.
Boy, Carroll Phillips is having a year, isn't he?
He is.
A big year.
I think he'd be the 5th guy to have 20 tackles for loss and the 5th or 6th to have 10 sacks. He's 2 away.
Fred Wakefield's one of those guys.
Yep.
Austin, 2.5. I'm going to go under here. I think he'll get at least 1, maybe 2. I don't see him getting 3.
Over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got no analysis. Just over.
I'll go with I'm going to go under, but he's going to get 20 in the season.
Yes. Yes, he is.
Go ahead, Austin.
All right, next one, Hardy Nickerson, tackles 11.5. Needs 8 to reach 100.
Oh, I think this game screams Hardy Nickerson and tackles, right?
If you want to have one storyline for this game, the tackles lead for the Big Ten.
Ooh.
Josie Jewell has 95. Hardy Nickerson has 92.
Interesting.
I'll be looking for
go. Back and forth.
Okay.
A little bit of tackle leader here. I'm going to go over.
I am too. I think a lot of this is going to funnel. I mean, Iowa's going to run the ball a ton, even dump off a couple times. I definitely Hardy goes over 11.5.
We can assume Iowa's going to have the ball for over 35 minutes. We can assume they're going to run a lot of plays. Yes, he goes over.
Okay.
Illini time of possession, 23 minutes. 3 of the last 4 games, it's been under 19 minutes.
3 of the last 4 games, guys.
It's been under 19
minutes.
Wow.
You can't even get a proper read on what that defense would do if it was only out there for 28 minutes again.
It's a good Iowa defense. It's a ball control offense. That's why I'd like to see them run just to control the ball. There's got to be a ball control game.
Agreed.
Illinois. Don't turn it over and control it so that Iowa can't score up a bunch of points.
I'd love to sit here and say Wes Lunt's back, so we're going to hit on some third downs.
You're not going to get. You weren't getting
much.
a lot of first downs with him anyway.
I agree.
I'm going to go over just to say at some point you got to have it more than 23 minutes, right?
Yeah. I tell you what, Carp, I was going to have the ball a lot. 23, man, they've really been under 19 minutes 3 of the last 4 games. That blows my mind. I'll go over. I'm still going to go over.
The fact the defense held that win against Michigan State, I kept looking up at the scoreboard, and the stat that just stuck out more than anything, more than the score, was seeing the time of possession of 40 minutes for Michigan State with 5 minutes to go in the game. And thinking, oh, we're done. I mean, they're toast. But they weren't.
And somehow they won that.
So I actually think Illinois time of possession is over 23 minutes.
Okay, we're all
more
over.
Because the defense forces some 3 and outs.
Got it.
There's going to be so many punts tomorrow, and there's going to be so many ugly punts.
Yes.
Final one, Akram Wadley, total yards, 135.5. He's averaging 136 total yards the last 4 games.
He's over.
Whenever it comes to a running back against Illinois, you got to go over. Right?
And not only that, but Iowa. Remember, what was the kid last year that ran for like
Canzeri.
400 yards?
Jordan Canzeri.
Was he a senior?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
I'm going over here, Austin. I think, especially total yards, I think he'll run for that many. Never mind getting the total yards with catches.
Over.
Yeah.
I agree with you. All right, I'll throw one in here. Times Jay Lehman breaks down the election. Remember, Carp? The
Rust Belt states.
The Rust Belt states, Michigan, Ohio, or was it
Pennsylvania,
and
Wisconsin.
He's going to bring up that thing.
Yeah.
I'll go. What's the number?
0.5.
I'll go over.
He's got to go over. I mean, that's a great line.
Absolutely.
Automatic. That's automatic. For sure on that.
It's phenomenal.
Austin, thank you, buddy.
No problem.
We always enjoy Austin, kind of the voice of God as he comes over to you. No problem.
I would like that to be the voice of God.
Wouldn't it? I would too.
That'd be a pleasant voice of God.
A pleasant, nice guy like Austin Berkeley.
Know your enemy, Iowa, and we threw in Detroit Mercy as well. We'll do that next.
Dick Vitale. It is Tay and J College Game Day.
Holding the door for someone, writing thank you notes, sharing your umbrella when it starts to rain. These are the things you do because doing them just seems right. If you're looking for a Medicare plan, there's a company that shares your values, Health Alliance. We provide Medicare Advantage plans and customer service the way they ought to be provided, clearly, simply, affordably. And since we partner with local providers, you can keep seeing the doctors you already know and trust. Call 1-888-382-9771 and talk to a real person, not an automated phone system. Because talking to a real person who really wants to help you find the right Medicare plan just seems right. 1-888-382-9771. TTY 711. Daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. local time. Health Alliance Medicare. Just seems right. Voicemail is used on holidays and weekends from February 15th to September 30th. The provider network may change at any time. You'll receive notice when necessary.
If you run a business, whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or construction, you know that commercial vans aren't one size fits all. Some vans are too small.
We're gonna have to make 2 trips.
Others too big.
Watch the top! Watch the top!
You need a van that's just right. That's where the Mercedes-Benz Metris comes in. It's the only available mid-size commercial van. With unmatched safety features, a 2,500 2-pound payload, and enough cargo space to hold over 60 sheets of 4x8 drywall. It's big enough for the job. Yet it's small enough to fit in your garage. It has a service interval of up to 15,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. We won't give you a one-size-fits-all van. We'll do you one better, a commercial van that's sized just right for you. The 2016 midsize Metris. Mercedes-Benz. Vans born to run.
There are so many things that make us happy. A warm puppy. A sunny day. $1. $1? You bet, because each and every day at McDonald's, that $1 will get you every size of icy cold Coke, refreshing sweet tea, or rich McCafe brewed coffee made with 100% Arabica beans. Just $1. And that's a small price to pay for a little happiness. At McDonald's, I'm loving it. Limited time only, a la carte only, prices and participation may vary.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
The hunt is on, and Gander Mountain has the best deals on the hunting gear you need.
From guns and bows to camo and calls, we have all the new products from the best brands, plus Gander exclusives to take you from knockdown to drag out. So gear up at Gander Mountain and get after it. This week, select scent elimination and deer attractant products from Tinks, Dead Downwind, and Buck Bomb are just $6.99. We live for this. We live outdoors. Gander Mountain.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
Are you sick of spending thousands of dollars a year on smoking? Sick of coughing every time you get up in the morning? Well, try Vapors E-Cigs LLC, offering the best e-cigarette kits, liquids, accessories, and refills. Using an e-cig gives you the freedom to enjoy smoking again without all the guilt and the odor. Stop into Vapors E-Cigs LLC and find out how they can help you quit smoking. Find Vapors E-Cigs in 3 convenient locations: 1903 North Neal Street, Champaign, 2 East Main Street in Danville across from the courthouse, and now open at 620 East Champaign Avenue in Rantoul.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday mornings 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is Tay and J College Game Day, live inside Game Day Spirit at the corner of 6th and Green.
Yeah.
In Campustown.
Not Neal Street.
No.
Where we're standing right now.
It's 6th and Green.
Is 6th and Green, all right. If you weren't listening earlier, how dare you? That's an inside joke. Want to thank our sponsors, Honda BMW of Champaign, Chief Bauer, JSM, Champaign Center Partnership, Busey, Game Day Spirit, Shambana Sales, and DP Dough. It's Tay and J College Game Day. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter.
Okay, so we're going to do Know Your Enemy here in a second. But, Carp, what do you want to buzz in with?
Let's see. Is this Iowa and Detroit?
Yeah, just like 2 questions of Detroit.
Okay, so I'll do an Iowa guy. Let's go
Did you have
with
a Detroit Mercy guy ready for you?
Vital.
AC Earl, so I'll go AC.
Wow.
AC.
You can go BJ for BJ Armstrong.
There we go, AC, BJ.
Yeah.
You know, I told you that story, right? My dad's last trip ever.
Dirty.
No, that's a true story. Dad's last trip
I think his buzzing should definitely be BJ.
Okay, it'll be BJ. Then. What the hell? So Neil Tay takes me to an Illini basketball game when Armstrong played for Iowa, and Illinois was up like 18 with about 14 to play, and Armstrong went crazy. Iowa comes back and wins the game. We get up and leave, and Dad's like, I'll never come back to a game here again. And he never did. He never did. He was so mad. I don't know why he didn't like Iowa.
Was that before or after the Final Four year? Like 1990 or so?
Yeah. I don't know when BJ played.
Okay. Well,
I'm not sure.
He played in the Final Four year, and that was the game that Kendall came back.
Okay.
But it wouldn't have been that. It was
I
either
think it was
before
the
or
year after.
Okay.
Maybe. It was maybe the year after.
All right,
so am I really BJ?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Know your enemy.
All right.
Getting to know you.
I stink at this.
Getting to know about you.
Wait a minute. Don't I know you from somewhere?
Clearly, know your enemy. Know your enemy.
I know you. You know you. And I know you know that I know you.
You are enemy. You are my hated enemy.
I don't even know who you are.
Juan, there are a few here that I think could help you.
BJ, Roy Marble.
No, let's start with Detroit Mercy.
Oh.
This Detroit Mercy alum is on a Comedy Central sketch show with another comedian and is known for substitute teacher.
AC.
Oh.
Cart.
Jordan Peele.
That is incorrect. I will take just a last name.
BJ.
Yes.
Key.
Oh, yes.
Man.
Ding, 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 ding. Keegan Michael Key.
Which one is which?
Keegan Michael Key.
Who's the taller dude?
The tall, bald one is... I don't know.
I don't know. They're
pretty funny, though.
They are great.
All right, this Detroit Mercy Hall of Fame basketball player was a member of the Seattle Supersonics in the 70s. Was a 4-time All-Star and ABA MVP.
Oh.
This is all you, Lon.
Supersonics in the 70s.
And it was not Jack Sikma.
Okay, I was going to say he was an Illinois Wesleyan guy. Man,
Kankakee
Seattle,
native.
I'll go BJ, Nate Anderson.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Spencer Haywood.
Oh,
okay. That name's familiar.
This
didn't know
current
he went
SEC coach was a defensive lineman for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
This current who?
This current SEC coach was a defensive lineman for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Also used to coach in the Big Ten.
BJ. Belima. Brett Belima.
Yes.
Yes.
Lon takes a 2-0 lead.
That's all right. That's all
Iowa?
right.
I didn't know that.
Just a little rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah,
This head coach of an NFC team and former Indianapolis Colts coach was a defensive back for the Hawkeyes.
BJ. Tony Dungy.
That's incorrect. He went to Minnesota.
Coach for Indianapolis. Okay, run that by before the Indianapolis Colts coach. He was what?
He's a head coach in the NFC currently. Was a defensive back for the Hawkeyes. Also coached the Colts.
Tony Dungy isn't coaching currently, is he?
NFC. Okay. AC. Jim Caldwell.
Yes, that's correct.
Good call.
All right. Jim Caldwell. All right, this coach was the only coach to lead 6 teams to a bowl game and was a 2-time National
BJ.
Coach of the Year.
Hayden Fry.
That is incorrect.
Oh, for Iowa?
He went to Iowa.
Went to Iowa. And he's a college coach and went to 6 straight bowl games.
I jumped in.
No, he went to 6. He led 6 teams to a bowl game and was a 2-time National Coach of the Year.
Oh, AC. I was going to say Bob Stoops, but he's not
That's
Iowa.
incorrect.
I don't know.
Lou Holtz.
Oh, okay.
Lou Holtz.
Yeah. The salivating madman.
This actor played a sweet dream maker and recently died.
Sweet dream maker.
A sweet dream maker.
An actor that died recently.
I think he's given us a major clue there
A
with
sweet
and neither one of us are jumping on it.
dream maker?
He likes chocolate.
Oh.
AC. Gene Wilder.
Oh, Chocolate Factory. Good call.
Okay.
Dang it.
This heartthrob actor and prankster is now
AC.
Okay.
Ashton Kutcher.
That is correct.
Yeah. I was going to say Brad
He is a
Pitt.
heartthrob.
Is currently dating the girl who was his on-screen girlfriend in the TV show that made him famous.
Wow.
That's Ashton Kutcher.
Mm-hmm.
How many dates ago did he date
Demi Moore?
what's-her-face? Yeah, Demi.
That was right before Mila
Right before
Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
Oh, okay.
Which was better? Mila?
To me, man, she in her day.
Demi and Disclosure. Check it out.
All right. Carp, you're up 3-2.
Okay.
Dang it.
This newsman served as anchor of NBC News from 82 to 2004.
AC.
Carp.
Tom Brokaw.
That's correct.
Good call.
Come on, Lon. That's
Tom
up your alley.
Brokaw.
This,
I just don't think this quick.
This C-list actor dated one of the 90s most famous comedians and was impersonated by Chris Farley on Saturday Night Live.
AC. Tom Arnold.
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Have I ever won one of these?
You did once. You did.
Yeah, I was Rutgers.
This Hawkeyes player was the highest drafted Iowa player ever, going number 2 overall in 2004. 1 pick after Eli Manning, 1 pick before Larry
AC.
Fitzgerald.
Bob Sanders.
That's incorrect.
Okay.
I'll read it again. Hawkeyes
Yes.
player was the highest drafted Iowa player ever, going number 2 overall in 2004. 1 pick after Eli Manning and 1 pick before Larry Fitzgerald. His last name is a place name where they store art.
I was going to say Tom
they
Knight,
show
but it's
art.
not. Where they show art. I don't know. It's not.
Come on.
I don't
Come on. He went to the Raiders.
Clue.
Offensive lineman.
That's a
I'm
good
helping
clue.
you out on this one. Long hair.
Yes, Gallery.
Yeah,
Robert
yeah,
Gallery.
Robert
Gallery.
There you
We'll give it to Lon because it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
thank you.
That's fine. This offensive lineman was the last Iowa player drafted in the top 5 of the NFL draft. You guys aren't going to get it.
Does he play for Iowa? I mean, excuse me, Green Bay.
No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Brian Bulaga.
Brandon Sheriff.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sheriff.
Yeah.
SCHERFF.
All right, that's No Your Enemy.
Dang
Carp
it.
wins
All right.
5-3.
Yeah, Carb, come on, man.
Sorry, man.
I need to battle
Started
somebody
well
else
with Key.
2-0.
Well.
Oh, I did. All right, listen, next hour, Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. He's going to join us. We are going to continue to chat about Jeremiah Tillman and the big announcement yesterday of him coming to Illinois.
We'll also do a senior send-off. I'll give my thoughts on the seniors
cool.
who are all playing their last home game.
Okay, we're back. We're live at Game Day Spirit. It is the Tay and J College Game Day.
Catch a great deal at Matex Heating and Cooling during Train's Big Game promotion. Buy a qualifying system and scratch off a trade-in allowance up to $2,000 or choose special financing for 5 years now through December 15th. Matex Heating and Cooling is serving your community with over 20 years of quality workmanship. Visit MATTEXservice.com for complete program eligibility dates, details, and restrictions. Subject to credit approval. Matex Heating and Cooling. It's hard to stop a train.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. You know, without batteries, life would be pretty lifeless. That's why Interstate All Battery Centers carry them in every size, shape, and style so you can drive, drill, call, film, or do whatever it is you want to do. Stop in today. They've got the power to keep you going. Interstate All Battery Center. Outrageously dependable.
Interstate All Battery Center. You'll find them outrageously dependable just over Interstate 74 at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign, with batteries for most every application in stock. Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
At the Y, it's about more than sports and working out. It's about making our community better, living a healthier life, spending time together as a family. It's where you can go to learn and play after school or work. The Y strengthens communities by helping kids reach their full potential, encouraging healthy living, and inspiring social responsibility. Join the Stevens Family Y. Visit sf-ymca.net for more details.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
News Radio. I'm Pam Puso. New York's Attorney General calls it a major victory, the multi-million-dollar settlement surrounding Trump University agreed to by the president-elect. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more live.
Pam, President-elect Trump's $25 million settlement applies to 3 different lawsuits, 1 in New York and 2 in California. Thousands of students of Trump University who had sued alleging fraud will get a lot of their money back. Attorney Jason Forge represented some of them, and he said after the election,
we definitely detected a change of tone and a change of approach. And I do believe, some of you were not in court, but I do believe that Mr. Petrocelli spoke sincerely about the fact that this is part of the process of turning the page and looking forward.
Dan Petrocelli, who represents Mr. Trump, said he was willing to put aside his own feelings about the case to focus on the issues now facing the country, Pam.
Thanks, Jessica. After another day of marathon meetings in New York, Mr. Trump is now in neighboring New Jersey at one of his golf clubs where he'll meet with more potential cabinet contenders.
He's meeting with Mitt Romney tomorrow. Doesn't mean it leads to a cabinet position. He's had probably 70 meetings, 60 meetings. Not all of them are going to get cabinet positions.
Trump advisor Kellyanne Conway on Fox is the 5 being considered for defense chief, according to the Wall Street Journal. Former CIA director and retired General David Petraeus and retired Marine Corps General James Mattis. A plea to the public from Attorney General Loretta Lynch. She's urging all Americans to report any incidents that may violate federal civil rights laws.
I know that many Americans are concerned by a spate of recent news reports about alleged hate crimes and harassment.
In a video message posted online, the Attorney General described an alarming trend of criminal behavior. Red arrows on Wall Street, the Dow down 35 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Hey everyone!
This is Life Tips with Geico.
Life Tip 1. You can use a razor to shave those little lint balls off your sweatshirt or jacket.
Speaking of jackets, try wearing yours backwards. You could use the hood as a convenient snack trough.
Life Tip 2. Switch to Geico and you could save hundreds on your car insurance. On top of that, the Geico Insurance Agency could help save you money on home and renter's insurance. Geico. Get savings into your life. Visit geico.com today.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
Going from bad to worse, the situation in the Syrian city of Aleppo, where bombings are growing more intense in rebel-held areas.
It doesn't really matter whose airplane is dropping the bomb. It's either the Syrians or the Russians, or both. The fact is it's got to stop. It needs to stop.
State Department spokesman John Kirby, conditions so dangerous that doctors at a pediatric hospital are evacuating babies in incubators from underground shelters. Being evaluated at a hospital, the owner of a Minneapolis daycare center who allegedly tried to hang a 1-year-old child, then threatened to jump from a bridge.
All the parents that had children at the daycare were notified. They were all responding, and we had our police chaplain as well as our officers there to help them pick up their children.
Assistant Police Chief Chris Ornissen, the child who was rescued by a parent, is said to be doing fine. Will sports fans place their bets on the new team created by combining two giants in the online fantasy sports business?
It's a done deal. Fantasy sports tech rivals DraftKings and FanDuel agreeing to merge after months of speculation and increasing regulatory scrutiny. Last year, the two companies spending upwards of $500 million on advertising to try to build unique brands. The two companies saying the combined organization will be able to reduce costs as they work to become profitable and battle with regulators across the country to remain legal. The companies haven't decided yet what brand they will operate under or if they will maintain both brands. DraftKings has investments from 21st Century Fox, which is the parent company of Fox News. Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
Above normal temperatures in parts of the northern plains have been erased by a punishing storm that's dumping snow from the Dakotas to central Minnesota.
If you don't need to go out in this snowstorm, it's best to stay indoors.
Bruce Sullivan with the Weather Prediction Center. The snow is accompanied by howling winds. Pam Huso, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service. Brought to you by Chief Bauer.
Keegan-Michael Key's the tall one,
okay.
by the way.
I think he's my... I don't know.
He's pretty good.
The tall dude's my favorite.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, but Peel has these really funny looks that he gives sometimes.
Yeah. The All-American team, football team.
That one's great. And then search for one where they're in an a cappella group.
Oh, really?
It's really good.
John Smith, punter, BYU.
He's in the second a cappella movie.
Pitch Perfect 2?
Yeah, he's in Pitch Perfect 2.
Was it as good as the first one?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
No.
But Anna Kendrick, sleeper pick?
Sure.
Sleeper pick.
My boys may be watching.
She's so talented.
Like yeah. All right.
CheapBauer.com, 866-EXPERTS.
Weather stinks.
Tonight getting down to 33 degrees. Tomorrow 42 is the high, but the wind chill will be in the upper 20s as the wind coming out of the west, 25 miles an hour, 40 mile per hour wind gust, low of 25 degrees tomorrow night, and then 43 and sunny on Sunday. The wind calming down, though, with a low of 33 overnight on Sunday. But right now it is 52. It is getting chilly. We're live at Game Day Spirit on Campus Town. In Campus Town. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right where we're standing.
Right here where we're standing in Game Day Spirit. The best thing about Game Day Spirit, when you walk in, free popcorn, and it is excellent. So come in, you can do some shopping, get ready for the Iowa-Illinois game tomorrow, or, of course, the Illinois basketball season coming up, a game tonight against Detroit Mercy.
Breaking Yankees news, Carp.
Oh, Brett Gardner traded.
You've released Dustin Ackley.
Ooh. Oh, that's fine.
That Dustin Ackley news.
Just want to update.
Nameless guy. But, hey, I like the McCann trade. Get some money off the books, and then I guess they're going to go after potentially either Cespedes or Edwin Encarnacion.
That'd be interesting. Encarnacion would.
Do you want to spend all that money on Bryce Harper next year?
No.
He's not he didn't have a good year.
No, I don't want to spend that kind of money. I think they have position players
$500 million
and spend the money on an ace pitcher. They have the position players, I think, where
Haven't we learned that pitching's where you need to spend your money?
Ooh, but it's a volatile position itself.
It is.
If you could do everything in 4 or 5 year deals, I'm fine.
Right.
I just don't want to do 10-year deals.
No, I'm with you there.
The LA Angels were talking about.
Right. It just seems, the Cubs go out and get Lester, and that worked out. Arrieta's worked out. I mean, that's just
but
one
those are finishing
example.
Pieces.
You're right.
When
that's
finishing
true.
pieces,
That's true.
I'm cool with spending that money.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad I'm not in that world where I have to do this. Listen, it's Tay and J College Game Day. Lonte, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter. We're live at Game Day Spirit in Campus Town.
Yeah, we've already talked to Jordan Burnfield, who's on the call for ESPN 3 tonight. Talked with Derek Young, Hawkeye Insider, about tomorrow's Illinois-Iowa game. Let's talk more about that big signing yesterday, Alon.
Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, joins us. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Brad, they got their man, Jeremiah Tillman. He signs, and that's huge news, Brad, huge.
I think we lost Brad.
I think we did too. Brad, you there, buddy? All right, we'll try to call him again.
Let's give him a call back.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's call Brad back, and we'll talk to him about, of course, Tillman and the entire class of 2017. Isn't it funny it's done? It seems like we talked about that class for how long?
It basically is done.
Well, right. Good
because
call.
you could add somebody to it. Somebody mentioned Alonzo Verge, who's now going to be at Thornton High School. He's been at a bunch of places, which is always a red flag.
Yes, it is.
He's had some academic issues, just some behavioral issues, things like that. So I don't know if they'll get all involved in that one again, but he's a very talented player.
Absolutely.
But John Gross talks about front court. That's where they want to add. I think it'll be a fifth-year transfer. If you can get the Australian kid, Jacob Epperson, that'd be great. He's a developmental prospect. I think Scout has him as one of the top 60 prospects in the country, but he's a skinny kid. 6'11", though, really talented, plays at La Lumiere Prep. So he's obviously going to have a lot of their attention, but he's going to have the attention of a lot of schools because he just got over here, and there are so many schools they're going to need a big man, and he's probably going to be one of the best on the market.
How does it work with the fifth-year transfers? We should be experts at this now after Sam McLaurin and Sammy Ice and Mike Thorne Jr., et cetera, but obviously the season ends and the school year ends, and then is it pretty quick that those guys declare that they're going to transfer?
Yeah, Mike Thorne decided, April?
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, within the end of the season, March, you start to hear about them a lot, and then it's quick work. They get to a campus, and they decide where they want
So
to
there's
go.
a chance Illinois could land that guy by next April?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was confused
before
on.
the signing period. So,
okay.
Yeah, that absolutely could happen. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get a Mike Thorne kind of player, but you can always find a Sam McLaurin, and that's kind of what would be nice with a Jeremiah Tillman, a guy who can just play good defense, rebound for 15 to 20 minutes a game.
That'd be big because Tillman, I'm excited for him, but you just never know, and that's what would be great to have somebody else down low. We're going to go back to the Jupiters, the Crossing phone line. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Brad, I asked you before, Tillman, Illinois gets their guy. How big is it, my friend?
Can he hear us?
I don't know.
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think so either. So let's drop Brad again. Maybe we can figure that out back at studio and see if we can figure it out with Brad Sturdy.
Live radio.
Yeah, baby.
Lonnie, you were asking me a question.
Yes, I was. I was asking about the importance of a guy like Tillman, obviously, and I think Jeremy's done a great job of tempering expectations for all of us to say, oh, here comes a 5-star guy. He's going to come in, score 16, grab 10 rebounds.
Well,
a
I think
game.
it's okay to say he's going to be good next year, but at the same time, he's not going to be all Big Ten.
Correct.
Yeah, but
I mean,
he's
it'd
going
be
to be
great if
good.
he was.
Most likely, yeah.
But if he was, and we brought that up earlier with not necessarily Diamond Stone, but with with Bryant. That's the guy from Indiana, Thomas Bryant. That's the guy that I think I look at the most to say if he could be anywhere near him.
Yeah,
because he changed the complexion of that Indiana team.
That's what you're talking about, and I think that's the biggest thing because Thomas Bryant is a better defender.
Yes,
He moves a little bit better. But that's what you're talking about. He's not going. Thomas Bryant didn't carry Indiana last year, right?
Nope.
But what he did is when he's on the court, Indiana all of a sudden became much better defensively.
Yes, they
They're
were.
a much different team.
Yep.
Much like Mike Thorne last year. When Mike Thorne was on the court last year, that was a much different team.
Yep.
Right?
Big time.
You get the ball inside to somebody. You had somebody who can rebound. That's what Jeremiah Tillman is. He's not Anthony Davis, where he's going to lift you to an NCAA championship or Big Ten championship in a year, but he's a guy that's going to make a huge presence.
Here's what's funny, Carmen. If it's a big guy, a 5-star big guy, it's kind of boring, right? Because they're going to come in and give you which is what you need. They're going to give you maybe 10 points, maybe 5 rebounds, but it's like a 5-star guard or wing guy that can come in and score 20.
It feels like the ceiling isn't quite as high for a freshman big man as it would be a freshman top 10 in the nation.
Amen.
Well, as you said, wing or guard, because you're looking for those.
Anthony Towns.
Yes.
Exactly.
I mean, he was great.
Yep.
I guess that team was so loaded. He didn't have to make such an impact, but some of those guys take
And now he's one of the best in the NBA.
But Jeremiah's nowhere near
No.
You are, though. I mean, that is an extreme example, and that's why I think that whether it be the Thomas Bryant or, Caleb Swanigan is very, very good, and I don't know what that comparison, how that would work out, but, I mean, that guy's a freak.
He's really good. really
but
good.
I have to think that next year, what it's weird to say this about an incoming freshman, that you will have a somewhat steady hand at the 5, that at least physically, I know he's got room to grow, he's got muscle to put on, but at least physically you will not be outmanned at the 5, and then you also have some skill down there that you didn't have otherwise.
Brad Sturdy, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yes!
There he is.
All right,
There he is.
So we're talking about the expectations for Jeremiah Tillman. He signed, we'll talk about the impact just as a program, but what does he add on the court next year?
I think with Jeremiah, you're going to see a kid who can come in. He's going to play right away. I mean, athletically, he can match up. He's a kid who can defend the rim a little bit, which is something they really have lacked, really since Egwu left, and they haven't had that rim protector. And I think he can be that guy. He also has, he has good post skills. I think they're a little bit underrated. People have said he's raw, and I think he's a little raw. He's got some room to grow, no doubt. But this fall in some workouts, I mean, he was outstanding. So I think that he's really developing his game. The year at LaLue really helped him, and I think he'll be an instant impact guy. Now that's relatively. I mean, I know you guys mentioned Thomas Bryant. He was like 12-6 last year or something like that. So I mean, that would be that'd be a great year if you could get that out of Jeremiah.
So Brad, what did yesterday mean for John Gross and for this program? Because I think he's a huge puzzle piece, right? He's not like Anthony Davis or anything like that, but just even perception-wise and just momentum-wise, that's where it feels like that's why yesterday's announcement of his signing was so huge.
Yeah, I think it's really important to create that positive vibe and create that positive feeling. And also, this is one of those things. I mean, I think there were two things that John Gross had to do. One was to make the NCAA tournament this year, and the other one is to bring in a really good recruiting class. And I think he's brought in the really good recruiting class. Now the next step is to make the NCAA tournament, and I think they can do that. But this is just going to create. There was so much. People were just giddy. Illinois fans were giddy, for lack of a better term. There's so much positivity, I guess, and people really excited and feel like a bright future. It's amazing how, like 2 days earlier, people were like panicking at the end of the world, and then all of a sudden Tillman signs, and now it's like, oh, everything's going to be fine. And so hopefully it can have a positive impact on the floor as well. Maybe that'll give be a little bit of excitement for the crowd and then help the players as well.
Brad, we talked a little bit yesterday that Tillman came out and said all the right things. He said he never wavered. He was always committed to Illinois. In your mind, and Jeremy and I kind of both agree that there probably was somebody else involved. I mean, in your mind, was there probably a little bit of wavering?
He admitted Kansas was calling him.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what happened?
Yeah,
what happened this week?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that. I mean, there were some internal things and some things where he was. And I don't think he ever questioned like Illinois or questioned John Gross or questioned, Jamal Walker, who was huge in this recruitment. But I think he was just, it's like when people start telling you how great everything is at their place and how bad it is, I think you just start listening a little bit and you get caught up in it. And there, even if he never wavered, there were people in his ear, telling him, well, you don't want to do that. Why don't you do this? Or just wait till spring because, you can always sign then. It's not like they're going to not have a scholarship for you. You can just sign in the spring and just, so when you're a kid like that, they kind of sell you a bill of goods. I mean, that's the way it goes. And, that's part of recruiting. And Illinois was able to go in and kind of seal the deal there at the end. And, I don't think they thought they were going to have to do that a few weeks prior, but it turned out they did kind of have to close the deal. And they did a great job with that. So it all worked out. But Jeremiah did say all the right things. He talked about how much he wants to be an Illini. And, it's funny. You schedule a press conference, and you've already sent your letter of intent, and then you wear an Illinois shirt. It's kind of gave it away, I think, maybe a little bit. So, but it was, so there wasn't no hat tricks or anything like that. So it was definitely a lot better than some signing day excitement Illinois had in the past.
Yeah, there was only one hat on the table.
Right.
But Illinois fans, even when they saw the polo, they're like, what's underneath?
Yeah.
What's underneath?
Sean Livingston did that the day before, remember?
So, Brad, I look at this recruiting class, and man, on paper, it fills a lot of holes, 2 big holes, one at center, one at point guard with Trent Frazier. Then you had Javon Pickett, a kid that's skilled, tough, kind of what they've gotten on their program right now. But DeMonte Williams, to me, is just the ultimate X factor in this class, because there's times where he can look like a top 50 recruit, and then there's other times he's not even the best player, second best player on his own high school team. So what do you kind of see? What do you want to see out of DeMonte this year?
Well, DeMonte's got to do it every night. I mean, it's got to be every time. And it doesn't mean that he doesn't mean they have to score. I mean, you look at Malcolm Hill he had 40 points last week, and then the next game he has 3. But in that game he had 3 points. He was very active. He was making plays. He, defensively diving on the floor, just little things like that. He had the motor, and he played really well. He missed some shots, but he actually played a really good game, despite only having 3 points. So you can do it on days when maybe you don't have the offense going, or maybe your teammates are doing it. And I think that's where DeMonte's got to make that step, where he can do it day in and day out. Now, obviously, Malcolm Hill's a senior in college, and DeMonte's a senior in high school, so there's going to be some growth. But I think on the same level, that's where he's got to make that adjustment and kind of just make sure he's bringing it to every game and understanding how important it is and being that leadership role. And you're exactly right. I mean, this is a kid who has a ton of talent. It's just a matter of him putting it all together. I mean, and on some days he looks phenomenal, and then on other days he just kind of goes through the motions. And I think that's where he's going to make that next step. And next weekend I'm going to be at his first game, so hopefully we can learn a little bit then.
Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Brad, it's kind of like a fast-pitch softball team that included me. I was always kind of the forgotten guy. Javon Pickett's kind of that forgotten guy, it seems like, in this class. Tell me something give me as an Illini fan. First of all, I appreciate the fact that he was the number one. He was the first guy to come out and say, I'm committed. Here we go. Let's get this class going. Certainly no slight to Javon Pickett, but give me as an Illini fan, what can I get excited for with him?
More than lawn batting and stuff.
Right. Well,
exactly. That was funny. I mean, you want to get excited, and then you're comparing him to you. And I don't know if that's going to do it for Illini fans there, Lon.
Good call. Good point.
No, but I think with Pickett, what you got is a kid who's really developing at a rapid rate. From where he was a year ago, physically, obviously he has some game. He can score the basketball. Maybe not a true, he's not like Jalen Coleman Land shooting the ball or something like that. He's a slasher. He can get to the rim. He can score in mid range. He can score at the rim. He's a good, really good player. He just really gets things done. But he's not real flashy sometimes. Sometimes it's just methodical, and the next thing you know, he's got 20 points. And you're like, nice. How did he get 20? He just kind of did it. And I think that's what he is. And the thing about him is he keeps growing and filling out. I think he's developed from a point where, when you first got him, you thought, well, he's a 6'2", and he's playing the 2 and the 3. I mean, he's too small. Well, now he's 6'4", 6'5", and he's playing the 2 and the 3. And now you're looking at him as a kid who can be a really good wing player. And it's like, you really see the bright future and the potential in him as you go along. The more you see him play, he's a kid that kind of grows on you. And I think that's what's happened here. And I think Illinois fans should be excited. I don't know that as a freshman with the guys ahead of him that maybe he's going to come in and make an instant impact. But again, much like a DJ Williams they have now, or his junior year, you're going to have expectations for him, and you're going to expect some big things. And I think Pickett will be the same way.
Nice. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Want to ask you about the current team because that's important too, as you were talking about.
Oh, by the way.
But now that they're done with this early signing period, they have 2 scholarships left in 2017. I wouldn't expect them to use both, but let's say 2017, 2018, Brad. We always know attrition happens. So give me 3 names. Even if you only have 2, or you might have 3 scholarships. Between those 2, 2017 and 2018, give me 3 names that Illini fans need to know and know a little bit about.
Well, I think Courtney Ramey is the guy, the first guy that I would say. He's a guy who has the ability to come in and play right away. He's a highly ranked kid. And I think Illinois has a great relationship, but I think they're gonna have stiff competition for him. That'd be the first guy. I think Io from Morgan Park, their guard. That I think they really want one of those 2 guys. I mean, in either one would be outstanding. And I don't think there's a guy they say, we have to have Io, we have to have Courtney. It's one of those. They got to get one of those guys. I think that they would be excited. As far as 2017, I think, the Epperson kid from La Lu is Jacob Epperson, tall, thin, but real would be a kid that they're going to try and, land in this 2017 class, a kid that can, and he may have a developmental year or something, but he's a kid who can be really, really good. Now they're going to, again, have really stiff competition for him going forward as well. So I think those would be the kids, and obviously the local kid, Tim Finke in 2018. I think Finke is, from everything that I've been told and seen, I'm so excited to see him play next week because I've heard about his progression and development, and it's just kind of been, and I think he's just kind of become, he's a really nice kid, and I think he's got a little bit of an edge to him now, and I think he wants to kind of prove something, and so I'm really excited to see him play next week.
A tall shooter like him with athleticism.
He's got athleticism.
It seemed to fit really well with this team as well. All right, Brad, so we got Detroit Mercy tonight against Illinois. Illinois looking to go 4-0 on the season. Obviously, these first 5 games a little different than the rest of the non-conference schedule, though Winthrop would be interesting. Just so far, what encourages you most, and what are you concerned about the most?
Well, I think that the things that I've been encouraged by, they have made an effort to go inside. On offense has been inside out. Even though they shot some threes and they made 16 threes the other night, they shot a ridiculous percentage as well. So it wasn't like they were just coming down and chucking. They got them in transition. They got them going inside out. So I was very, I liked the way the offense flowed the other night. Of course, when you score 100 and some odd points, that usually means a good offense. But the other thing, the one concern I have is the defense. They still give up too many 3-point attempts, and teams convert at the rim at kind of an alarming rate. And so your concern is that when you play these other high major teams that have guys that can get to the rim, they're going to continue to finish. And so you really hope that Illinois can shore up the defense and at least contain, keep people out of the paint. And then they got to find a way to keep them from finishing every time they get in the lane or leaving a wide open 3-point shooter. And I think we've seen that a little bit, and that's kind of the concern that I have about them defensively, and hopefully they can shore it up and right the ship defensively, because I think they can score on offense. I think they do have, especially when Jalen Coleman-Lands makes shots. If he and Hill are both hitting on the same night, they're going to be difficult to stop. And so I think Illinois has the offensive firepower to do some really good things. They just got to make sure they can guard.
Brad, last one from me. This 2-point guard system that John Gross is throwing out there, of course, right now it's seemingly with Abrams and Tate, but then Abrams gets into some foul trouble, and you see kind of the emergence of Tejon Lucas in the McKendree game. Do you think the 2-point guard thing is something that Gross will implement all year, or is this something early on he's trying to just kind of get things going and kind of feel his team out?
For West Virginia.
Yeah, well, good call.
I think West Virginia and BCU, you may see a couple point guards on the floor. I just think they handle the ball a little bit, and that's where you'll see. I think it's going to be a lot on matchups and how things work out. I would be surprised if you get into the half-court game in the Big Ten that you want both Tate and Abrams on the floor at the same time when you've got a kid like Coleman-Lands. Now, the one thing I think it comes down to is, can Aaron Jordan be the backup at the 2? Because if Aaron Jordan can't be the backup at the 2 or isn't getting it done, and although Jeremy and I both talked about how we feel like he does some good things on both ends of the floor. I know we were watching the game the other night. We were talking about it, but I think if he can step up and emerge, then you don't have to play the 2-point guards as much. But remember, at the beginning of the year, Jordan started those first couple exhibitions, first game, and then they switched, and then it was Tate and Abrams, and I think that was, there are a couple reasons for that, but I think one of them is just maybe Aaron just has to perform, or else they're going to play those guys together a little bit to spell Jalen Coleman-Lands, or when they get in foul trouble, as opposed to going to Jordan.
Well said, well done, Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Always enjoy it, buddy. Have fun at the game tonight.
Hey, thanks, man. We'll talk to you. See you in a little bit.
Brad Sturdy will be sitting courtside with Jeremy Warner. Are you guys still right next to each other?
Me. Well, now Piper's in the middle.
Oh, that's right. Pipes is in the middle.
Kind of ruining our...
I wonder if Derek and those guys thought they're getting a little too chummy, like they're talking too much during the game. They're not paying attention. Yeah. Their writing skills are going down. Let's separate Sturdy and Warner. I bet that's what's happened.
I thought it was. We should have podcasted that. It was good running commentary. Or we should have an ESPN The Ocho channel.
Yes,
like just Sturdy and I talking about.
You know what? People would love that. People seriously would love listening to what you guys are. And what would be great is 40% of it is probably not even anything about the game.
Yeah, we'd probably get in trouble.
Right.
There's a lot of election talk the last time.
Oh boy, I can't imagine
really
that.
Interesting. Coming up next, it's 24 seniors graduating for Illinois, and it's you're going to miss a lot of these guys because a lot of the talent of this team is in the senior class. So I'll try to provide a couple thoughts on each of these seniors as they have their last home game tomorrow at Memorial Stadium.
That's going to be great. It is Tay and J College Game Day. We are live at Game Day Spirit. Want to rip off real quick, not rip off, we're not going to steal anything. Just read the list of all our great sponsors for Tay and J College Game Day. Honda BMW of Champaign, Chief Bauer, JSM, Champaign Center Partnership, Busey, Game Day Spirit, of course, Chambana Sales, and DP Dough. We can't thank them enough all season as we've done Tay and J College Game Day. We are back. It is Tay and J College Game Day.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We're offering a great new deal on qualifying Train heating and cooling systems. For a limited time, you can play the Train Big Game promotion by scratching off a trade-in allowance up to $2,000. Or you can choose another way to save. Get 0% interest for 5 years. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 5 years on any qualifying Train system. Both options are for a limited time. So pick your best deal. Up to $2,000 trade allowance or 0% interest for 5 years. Call 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands, your independent train dealer for program details. Call 888-534-6894 about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99% for newly opened accounts. Subject to credit approval. Offer expires December 15, 2016.
Honda presents ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Pick up the 2017 Accord complete with Bluetooth streaming audio at the Happy Honda Day sales event. Or 2. Build a life-size gingerbread house.
What you think, honey?
Delicious.
Okay, that's a load-bearing wall.
So good.
Nothing's quite as magical as a great deal on the Honda Accord. Best-selling car in America. Well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Based on IHS Automotive CYTD December 2015 non-luxury traditional midsize segment new retail registrations in the U.S. E-dealer for financing details.
Ways to make your holidays even more magical. 1. Bake cookies for the whole neighborhood.
We're going to need more cooling racks.
Or 2. Get the super versatile 2016 CR-V at the Happy Honda Day sales event. The Honda CR-V, a 2016 KBB.com Best Buy. Well-qualified buyers can enjoy 0.9% APR. Hurry into your Honda dealer.
Visit your Central Illinois Honda dealers today.
For more information, visit KellyBlueBooksKBB.com. Kelly Blue Book is a registered trademark of Kelly Blue Book Co. Inc. See dealer for financing details.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently, mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%. APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
When you need hit music, you need Champaign-Urbana's hit music station. All the hits, Q96, where they start every workday with a Q96-minute music marathon. A proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
From a luxury studio to a 5-bedroom apartment, hunting for your next place to live is always easy when you sign a lease with JSM. They have locations all over campus. JSM keeps you close to classes and close to the quad. And they have lots of apartments near sorority and fraternity houses. Spacious layouts, newly renovated features, JSMLiving.com. And if you sign with JSM, you're able to sign up for the JSM VIP program where you receive discounts from local restaurants and stores. So what are you waiting for? Go to JSMLiving.com. That's JSMLiving.com today.
There's a time for work. There's a time for play. There's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is Tay and J College Game Day, live at Game Day Spirit on Campus Town. Tay, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter as well. Illinois and Iowa tomorrow. Football, 11 a.m. Of course, tonight, Illinois basketball against Detroit Mercy. But let's focus in on the football game, Jeremy. And tomorrow's Senior Day, and that's always a special day. And like you said, 24 of these guys.
It's a big class.
It's a very big class.
I mean, they got a lot of people to replace, and they're going to fill. They have a 25-man recruiting class coming in because they have a huge senior class. But the juniors and sophomore classes right now are pretty weak.
Okay.
So your freshmen right now and the incoming recruits are a huge part of your team next year.
A lot of names that people are going to recognize. Obviously, I'm just going to rip some off and let you kind of mention him. Let's start with Rob Bain on that defensive line, a guy that kind of plugging up holes for the Illini in the last couple of years.
Yeah, he started off as an offensive lineman out of Bolingbrook, came here with his teammate Aaron Bailey, and Rob Bain, what strikes me most is the last year, I think he's really transformed his personality.
Yes.
He really didn't let a lot of people in to his personality, but he has the last year, and I wish the season went better for him on the field. He hasn't had a great season, was nicked up a little bit, but he grew out his hair, talked a lot more, was a little bit more flashy, so it was cool to see his personality and just see him develop as a guy.
Yes or no, any NFL shot for Rob Bain?
I think he can get into a camp.
Okay.
I just don't know if he's athletic enough. He just wasn't really, if there was a guy that was hurt by the scheme change a little bit, I think it was Rob. They kind of slimmed him down to try and get him more athletic, and he's just more of a true nose tackle.
A kid that has been on the field a lot, unfortunately not this year. It's Taylor Barton, kind of lost his starting job.
Yeah, I think his first year really struggled. Wasn't ready to play as a redshirt freshman, and he really struggled. It's weird that his senior year kind of mirrors that.
Right.
Well, his sophomore and junior year, he seemed pretty good. And I think having Clayton Fedulum next to him last year really helped him.
Yes.
But yeah, he lost that spot, and he just – the tackling, coming up and going the right angles, it just seemed like he was a little stiff at times. But a kid from Florida that I'd heard was thinking about transferring just like TJ Neal, but he stuck it out, and too bad for him it didn't work out.
Amen. Manberg.
Great name.
Best name of the bunch.
The best thing is every year Manberg and Harry Black right next to each other on the roster sheet.
I love that. How about Connor Brennan, an offensive lineman that's kind of filled in?
One of the JUCOs that actually – I wouldn't say worked out great, but at least he actually provided depth. He was on the two deep, actually started some games this year. So there are a lot of JUCO flyers that they took that didn't work out. Connor Brennan actually provided some depth.
Dylan Casley, a defensive back. Haven't heard a lot of him.
Kid out of Charleston, got hurt earlier this year. Just small, 5'8" basically. Hard hitter, good kid, special teams guy. He's one of those early guys. He's one of the first commits to Tim Beckman, and just didn't have the Big Ten size or speed that you wanted to, but a kid out of Charleston who was a good teammate.
Always loved the local stuff. How about Chunky Clements, a kid, I guess a guy maybe I expected more out of this year, or is that not fair?
Inconsistent.
Okay.
He can be great at times. He looks like an NFL player at times, and I think he'll have a shot.
Okay.
He'll get into a camp, could be drafted, because the flashes are so good. He's such a good pass rusher out of that 3 technique, but if he were consistent, Illinois would have one of the best defensive lines in the Big Ten, if not the country. So he just needs to gain some consistency. You wish he was a redshirt junior.
Right.
I'm going to say this to Dwan Smoot as well, but he had to play way too early. And that was a big issue early on. If they could have redshirted him, he would have had another year. Boy.
Reviewing some of the Illini seniors as they get ready for Senior Day tomorrow against Iowa. Tight end's always a battle here. Andrew Davis, a guy that could hardly stay on the field last year because of penalties, everything. But this year he's kind of made a little bit of an impact.
Really highly regarded JUCO prospect that just couldn't add weight.
Okay.
He didn't have the physicality to play tight end in the Big Ten. Should have probably been, if he could have gained 10 or 15 pounds, I think he would have been a nice target for him. Just he's one of those bodies that couldn't add that kind of strength.
Yep, some of us used to go through that. Now we don't anymore. Ryan Frayne, the punter.
Yeah, he actually had some big shoes to fill, and Justin Duvernois.
That's right.
Justin Duvernois had a really nice career here.
Is he the one that fumbled against Purdue? Duvernois.
Penn State.
Oh, Penn State. That's right. Okay, sorry.
Joe Pa's last game.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Ryan Frayne, a good good kid. Ever since I've known him, had a really bad bicycle accident.
That's right.
Had a scary injury this year, but was able to get back on the field. that's an interesting hole to fill next year is punter. Because they're looking for a scholarship punter in this class. And even though Ryan Frayne isn't one of the best in the Big Ten, he's solid.
Yep.
That's going to be one of the holes they have to fill, which people probably don't know much about.
That is interesting. A kid that used to play with Wes Lunt in high school, now he's back with Wes Lunt on the field, wide receiver Zach Grant.
Probably had unfair expectations. Everyone's like, oh, he played high school with Wes Lunt.
He was great.
He's going to be awesome. He's going to be the number one target. Just didn't have the speed in the Big Ten. But he played a nice role this year. Really physical, definitely a good run blocker this year, which I did not expect. But even Wes would say it really doesn't mean anything that we played high school together.
No.
Because it's a different kind of athleticism, a different kind of game. But obviously he transferred from NIU to be here and turned into a scholarship player.
One of the guys that I think started the proverbial quote-unquote athlete, Justin Hardy, the wide receiver, just really has never emerged.
62 career catches. You know, I would have thought at one point that he could have had that in a season.
I agree.
And it just never – great athlete, one of the fastest guys on the team, just never seemed to be a good football player.
Yes.
But great story is well, sad story. His mom died a couple years ago, but
that's
he's
right.
going to get his degree from the University of Illinois, or he already has one. He's getting a master's, I believe. So personally, successfully, but on the field, didn't add quite what they needed.
Good for him. A young man that'll go out and make an impact. Another tight end, Ainsley Johnson. You heard a little bit more about him. He had the touchdown, right, against
Western Michigan, 56-yarder,
yeah.
and then a 1-yard touchdown against Michigan State. Made more of an impact than I ever thought he would. I thought this was a flyer that Illinois should have taken, and he made an impact this year. And the only reason he played this year at tight end is because he could block.
Yep.
He blocked people, and Andrew Davis obviously couldn't.
We usually save the quarterback, the prestige for last, but we'll go right now. Wes Lunt, the quarterback, of course, out of Rochester, originally at Oklahoma State. He comes here, shows loyalty back to the U of I, and tomorrow will be his last game here at home.
Didn't work out.
No.
Didn't work out for him. Didn't work out for Illinois. I wish it did. I wish he would have been in a better environment to succeed. And obviously he takes a little blame for it as well. That earlier this year I didn't think he started all that great. I just don't think he had the pieces in place for him to succeed. A lot of hype, maybe a little too much hype.
Okay.
But I think he's probably one of the more talented passers in the Big Ten. But with everything around him and all the changes in his program, I felt like he never really had much of a chance.
If you're an avid Tay and J listener, you'll hear he's got a list. Well, Michael Martin, a kid from Champaign, he was kind of behind this.
Yeah.
He's the one that sent it and said, hey, you need to go with Hall & Oates, I've got a list, I got a kiss.
Going to be successful in life, man.
Big time.
Long snapper for a couple of years here, mechanical engineering. He's going to get a master's degree. His family is always in force at these games.
Absolutely.
It's cool to see Michael have so much success here.
A great kid. Darius Mosley, I know a guy that you probably always wanted to see a little bit more out of.
Well, I just thought he was a nickelback, and they kept putting him out there at cornerback, and I didn't think that was really his spot. But he made a contribution all 4 years. And,
sure.
In Tim Beckman's class, he played as much as anybody.
That's a good point. I shouldn't have probably said it that way. Mosley, look, when you play for 4 years, that's pretty solid. Hardy Nickerson coming over from Cal.
Obviously a huge addition.
Huge.
Didn't work out winning-wise.
Right.
But this was a huge season for him. Filled exactly what they needed, but too bad the offense didn't work out too well this year, because I thought Hardy Nickerson just filled the perfect hole for them and gave them everything we thought he would. Just a good football player, and he'll get a chance at the next level. He'll probably get drafted.
A guy that will play at the next level, Carroll Phillips. He's having a monster senior year.
Yeah, he's turned himself into, from not even being on NFL radars to all of a sudden people are like, whoa, this guy's leading the Big Ten in tackles for loss. He's going to play at the next level. It's just, is he going to be a 3-4 defense or outside linebacker or a 4-3 defensive end? But he just has an athleticism that you can't teach. Had a neck injury early in his career, started off as linebacker, but in the first training camp on, you could see this was a different kind of athlete.
Sure.
A Martez Wilson kind of athlete that you just had to figure out football, and he has this year.
Only fitting that this kid would have a senior year this year. It's Jamel President.
That's right. Jamel's been a nice addition, just solid. Everything we kind of thought he would be. Not, he's not Carroll, he's not DeJuan Smooth, but just gives him a solid rotational player.
Mr. Shoes, David Reisner, isn't he the one with the goofy shoes?
He probably kept Tim Beckman in a job.
Yeah,
for an extra
Thanks
season.
a lot, David.
Without David Reisner, I don't think all that stuff would have happened.
I agree with
which
you.
Which is interesting.
All right, one of the bookends here, Austin Schmidt on that offensive line.
Again, I wish he was a redshirt junior.
Amen.
Had to play way too early. Good pass protector, not the most physical. He always had the skinniest legs.
Right.
Great upper body, really long. Just had skinnier legs, but I mean, he's been a contributor for the last 3 years.
This guy is going to go high in the NFL draft and going to make a lot of money. That's DeJuan Smoot.
One of the best defensive linemen we've seen in the last decade, along with Whitney Merciless, Corey Legit. If you had to make a defensive line of the last 10 years, DeJuan Smoot's starting.
Amen.
For that team.
A guy that you and I have kind of grown close to, and he's one of our favorites, Joe Spencer, the center.
Joe's all-world kid.
Yes.
He's involved in everything on campus. He's a captain of this team. He's not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, so there was times he'd struggle on the field, but boy.
He's the one your daughter, if you had one.
Yes. I mean, Joe's ridiculously smart, ridiculously good kid, and just a great representative of the University of Illinois.
Mike Svettina, injuries, unfortunately.
Injuries hurt his career. He was really put in bad positions his freshman year when they put him at the star position because he's an inside linebacker, and they put him out there in space. But, yeah, injuries kind of derailed his career, but another great kid.
And how about DJ Taylor, the wide receiver?
Never gained consistency.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Justin Hardy. It's like, you'd see flashes. I remember in camp last year, not this year, but last year, at times he looked like, oh, this guy can replace Mikey Dudek and get 30, 40 catches in a year.
Just never happened.
And just never gained consistency.
And finally, Tyler White, the tight end, who's kind of had ups and downs.
Alex Golesh took a flyer on him, and he told me one time, he goes, look out for this kid. He's big, he's physical. Injuries have hurt his career. And he's never had the greatest hands, but he's definitely the part of a Big Ten blocking tight end.
Well, if you're at the game tomorrow, for sure, celebrate, clap for these guys, 24 seniors that have played at the University of Illinois. That's a good breakdown on all of them.
Next, we got Who You Got, 7 games we're picking. We need somebody to come up against us. We'll take the first caller at 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255.
It is Tay and J College Game Day.
We're talking with Tim Wood of Stone Seed. Tim, I understand there's been a new breakthrough with soybeans?
Not just a breakthrough, Stevie, a game changer. There's a new Monsanto soybean with a yield 6 to 10 bushel better than the competition.
6 to 10 bushels better? That's a pretty significant upgrade.
And not only is there an increased yield with these soybeans, but these beans have been bred over 7 years. The first time in history a product like this has had so much breeding and selection.
6 to 10 bushels better. A soybean bred over 7 years. What else?
Dicamba is the only platform with a 14-day residual. It also has improved safety and vapor grip, a technology that reduces the volatility of dicamba to nearly zero.
Tim Wood of Stone Seed. Give him a call, 493-2295. That's 217-493-2295.
Better soybean yield, better breed, increased safety. We have it all at Stone Seed.
Stone Seed. We live here. We farm here. We know Illinois. Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign. Online at drivechampaign.com.
Crisis Nursery's 24th annual Children's Holiday Shop will take place Saturday, December 3rd through Saturday, December 10th at Lincoln Square in Urbana. The Holiday Shop is a yearly tradition for many families in Champaign-Urbana and the surrounding communities. All gifts are priced between $2 and $8. Children shop with the help of a community volunteer so that their gifts are a surprise for family and friends. All proceeds from the Holiday Shop support Crisis Nursery's programs and services for the children and families of Champaign County. For more information, visit crisisnursery.net or call us at 217-337-2731.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola is your local furniture expert. They've been in business over 50 years and their sales team has over 150 years of experience. They carry everything you need to furnish your whole house with top name brands such as Broyhill, Lane, Ashley, Smith Brothers, Bemco mattresses, and Mohawk carpeting. Their showroom is huge with over 30,000 square feet of furniture. Stop by Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola today or visit kelseyfurniture.com, Kelsey, Kelsey Furniture, or like them on Facebook. Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
What would our neighborhood, our city, our state, our nation look like if we thought first of others this holiday season? Could our cheerful holiday hearts bless not only our own families and friends, but strangers too? Game Day Spirit has partnered with the Eastern Illinois Food Bank for its Day of Giving because we believe this reality can come true. Next time you shop one of our stores, bring a non-perishable food item with you to help us bless the community this holiday season. Together we can make a difference. Stop by Game Day Spirit Fan Store in Champaign today. Go Illini!
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, it's Tay and J College Game Day. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner, Mike Carpenter live at Game Day Spirit in Campus Town, Illinois, Iowa tomorrow. Tonight, you've got Illinois basketball. And by the way, we always do the who you got. We kind of ran out of time, and we wanted to dedicate to those 24 seniors. So because we kind of ran out of time, we've elected not to do who you got today. So we apologize, but we'll move on. And really, we wouldn't have had a ticket to give away anyway. There's not another home game.
Right.
Yeah.
So the games this week aren't that great.
Yeah, they kind
anyway.
of stink.
I mean, the game I'm really actually intrigued by, guys, is in the Pac-12 as the Washington State Cougars take on Colorado.
Ooh.
Rick George's program is number 10 in the country with Mike McIntyre as their head coach.
8-2 on the year. That's interesting.
We don't need any Rick George.
No. You know, the other one, real quick, Ohio State at Michigan State. Wouldn't it be funny if the Spartans got right one time, right? And you'd be like, no!
And hey, Indiana, Michigan.
Yeah.
Indiana's been competitive.
If it were at Indiana.
Yes, I agree.
If it were at Indiana, it'd be really interesting. Because last year, I think they won OT.
If you had to pick one team, would you pick Michigan State or Indiana to pull off the upset?
Michigan State still.
Yeah, I would too. I would too. Being at home.
No, I flipped that because Indiana, Kevin Wilson has competed well against good teams for the last 2 years.
I could see Michigan State just having one game. Just one game.
All right.
But maybe not.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I think they had it last week against Rutgers. Everybody has their game against
Rutgers.
See,
they're feeling good now coming off that rug. It's almost like coming off a bye.
That's right.
Okay, Illinois tonight. Illinois basketball against Detroit Mercy at State Farm Center. You're going to head over to that one, I assume, right after this. And then, of course, Illinois football tomorrow. The Illini, look, this is a game they're going to go 4-0. Let's hope. If they don't, there's going to be some issues here.
This is the number 270 team on KenPom.
Wow.
And we just heard Jordan Burnfield joined us earlier. They lost almost everybody from last year.
Okay.
They got some talent here. And their coach, Bakari Alexander, was the Michigan assistant and one of the top assistants for John Beilein the last couple of years. Really good recruiter. So I thought this was a really good hire by Detroit. And so I think he'll turn that thing around. But year one, I think this is a transition year. They gave up 107 points to East Tennessee State.
Wow.
Illinois should be around 80, 90, probably around 90 points tonight. Because offensively, guys, I think this team can be really good.
Yes.
You just want to see defensively lock it up. And even against McKendree, I don't think we saw it.
Let me play stupid, which I can do very well. Illinois has given up about 62 3-points a game, right? Yeah. That doesn't sound bad.
Well, it's your opponent, though.
But
it's also
it's
also the good looks that opponents are getting.
Exactly.
And that's the thing where they aren't falling right now. But when you're playing any top 25 caliber team, and that's the other step this team's going to have to make is if they're going to make the tournament. And this goes for any tournament team. You need the quality wins, and in the Big Ten you get ample opportunities for those. But we've seen before with the last couple of teams, and really mostly. You see, that's the thing. We talked about this earlier this week. John Gross for 2 3/4 of a year had a really good stretch defensively. So I don't know. I mean, eventually this team's either going to click defensively or not.
Right.
And if they do, then yes, I think the ceiling is about a 5th place in the Big Ten if defensively they shore it up.
I don't think this is going to be a good defensive team.
Okay.
They just can't be a terrible defensive team. Because, Tracy's a solid defender. Malcolm can be okay.
Right.
But who else? Think he's not going to be a good defender.
No, he's not.
He's just not. Mav Morgan it can be in the right position. He can block some shots, but not many. Mike Thorne's probably physically the best defender, but isn't always in the right spot. Jalen Tate, undersized.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? You need guys like DJ Williams and Aaron Jordan to be good defenders off the bench, but you also need guys like Jalen Comelans and Michael Finke to be in the right spots.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to get beat one-on-one every once in a while, it happens. Maybe you're not as athletic, but they need to be in the right spots, and just the team defense hasn't been right now. And when one guy screws up, just like on Illinois football's defense, it makes everybody look bad, and it's happening too often.
John Gross has played a little zone this year. Do you see him implementing that more as we go along? I mean, unfortunately, sometimes coaches say, well, we're not good at man, so we're going to throw out a zone and see if it works.
I do against the right teams.
Okay.
Especially, they did it a lot against Purdue, right? Teams that are big inside.
That's right.
So they do that a lot there, but there's just too many good shooting teams in the Big Ten, I think, to do that consistently. And, when they had to bring out a zone to beat SEMO, you're sitting there going, really?
That's not good.
That's not a good thing. And they had success doing it. But you can see John Gross, even against Northern Kentucky and McKendree, he's like, we're going to play man, and you guys are going to stop them, but there's been too many good looks. I mean, even if these teams aren't scoring a bunch of points, they're getting way too many good looks, especially from the three-point line.
Right. Tracy Abrams got into some foul trouble. We got to see finally some big minutes, not big, but more minutes for Tejon Lucas.
The story of the preseason.
Right.
Tejon Lucas's minutes. I mean, he looked good. I mean, you consider the competition.
Right.
But he looked good. The floater looked good. The floater is something that I think against a lot of opponents you'll be able to get. That's a tough shot to defend. So I like the athleticism. I like the vision, which we were told time and time again. He's got an amazing vision. He's a great passer. We know that. But what I'm excited about going forward is he is a point guard where you don't expect him to score, but to see the soft touch that he did have when he tried to score, that is encouraging. That's hard to teach. And I think as you get in the Big Ten, I would love for the light to turn on for him. And no offense to Jalen Tate, but we know what that is. I'd love to both improve this year's team, but also get Tejon enough minutes where you feel really comfortable next year.
I think both those guys can play a role on this team, if that makes sense. Everyone's like, it's got to be one or the other. No, I think, especially against teams like VCU in West Virginia, you're going to need both those guys along with Tracy Abrams. You have Tracy at the 2 and those two guys at the 1 that can help you. I agree. Tejon's got a higher ceiling, way higher ceiling than Jalen. Jalen probably won't play as much during Big Ten play because they know all about him. But there are certain spots where he can really help you. Tejon reminds me of Jalen with his vision, his passing, all those things. But it feels like a younger Tracy in that he's not a great scorer, but he can score. He can shoot a little bit. He can attack the rim a little bit, has that runner game. So he's kind of a mix of those two guys.
Should I be worried about Mike Thorne Jr.? Because he I don't want to say he looks he looks slow. He looks slow and rusty.
That's what he is, though. I mean, last year, was he fat? I mean, he was a slow guy.
I think I just forgot what he was.
Yeah, it's kind of like Laurent Black. I think people forget what he was. Mike never is going to look graceful. So for everyone saying, he just looks like he's hampered out there, well, that's kind of how he plays. I mean, he's a lumbering big guy. I think some of these matchups aren't very good for him. But, yes, he is rusty. Just his touch around the hoop. I think where he needs to be, his conditioning, John Gross has even said. I think it's good that he played 18 minutes the other day, got a lot of shots, ended up getting a double-double. It was the ugliest double-double I've ever seen. But that's what you want to see the next two games.
Yes.
Jalen Comelans kind of knocked off some rust those first two games. Can Mike Thorne do that in these next two games before you're really going to need him? Because, I mean, he can be a double-double machine.
Huge.
And when you combine that with Mav Morgan, there's not many teams with 2 5s like that.
Carp, one more game without Laurent Black, and then he returns for Winthrop. What are you looking for? I mean, how excited? Now that you've seen this team right now through 3 games, and you'll see the 4th tonight, how excited are you to get a guy like Laurent and see what he can help you underneath?
Very, because like Jeremy said, I don't really remember freshman year. I mean, there was the Purdue game. At home, and that was the Laurent Black coming out party. But then you saw the usual freshman, the inconsistency that you associate with the freshman. And last year just never really got started for him.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. What I'm also excited for, and I'm not even kidding about this, let's say Tracy comes out and goes 3 for 5 from 3. Until he starts missing consistently, I mean, I would love to be able to pencil him in for 35% from 3. Which might sound crazy.
7 for 8 this year.
That's unreal.
But the stroke, call the eye test, whatever it is. That's a smooth looking stroke.
Yes,
and it seemed like he had to labor so much to make threes back in the day. I felt like it was a whole body shot. But this is different.
2 years to work on that gun. You can improve a lot.
Right.
Even John Gross said he's got to do it in games, but he's improved his shooting numbers in practice exponentially. over the last year. So I think he is a better shooter. And if you add a point guard who can shoot threes, Malcolm shooting at a better rate, we talked about that all the time, plus Jalen Comelans, plus Michael Finke, offensively, I'm not worried about this team.
I agree. And Robbie back at the studio, if you can hit 3-1 here. There you go. Right on target. You know what, guys, it's like this. I wasn't ever a great athlete at all, but I could shoot free throws. And you know why? Because I went out and I shot him, and I shot him, and I shot him. It works. I mean, young kids out there, like Tracy's doing, he's going and shooting a ton of jump shots. It works.
Illinois-Iowa prediction, Cart?
Illinois 20. Iowa 31.
Woo. Okay, I'm not going that high. With the wind, I'm going to say Iowa 24, Illinois 10.
I'm going to go Iowa 27, Illinois 13.
Okay.
Okay, we're all about the same ballpark.
That's right. Yeah. I see how you did that. Hey, we want to thank Derek Young, HawkeyeInsider.com. We talked to him about Iowa Hawkeyes.
Also, Jordan Burnfield, ESPN3. He's on the call tonight.
Sweet.
And also for 670 The Score. And Brad Sturdy, OrangeandBlueNews.com.
Want to thank Game Day Spirit. The store's awesome. They got popcorn for you and unbelievable stuff to buy here.
Thanks to Rob back at the studio as well as Austin Berkman.
Okay. It is, I want to thank real quick, Honda BMW of Champaign, Chief Bauer, JSM, Champaign Center Partnership, Busey, Game Day Spirit, Shambana Sales, and DP Doe. Wrapping up another year. Tay and J, College Game Day.
Join the Champaign Center Partnership as they kick off the holiday season in downtown Champaign, coming up Saturday, November 26th with the Christie Clinic Parade of Lights. Find the perfect spot to enjoy beautiful floats, candy, and cheer as the parade winds its way through the streets of downtown Champaign, starting at 6 p.m. Get special treatment with a great view, food, beverages, and prizes in the parade's VIP tent, sponsored by Order Up. Get your VIP tickets at ChampaignCenter.com. Stick around after the parade and celebrate as Santa lights up the One Main Plaza tree, sponsored by One Main Development. Grown-ups, tuck your little ones into bed and come back out for the Reindeer Rampage at 7 p.m. You'll have the chance to visit 4 local bars and try a specialty cocktail at each location. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours for only $25 at ChampaignCenter.com. For a full list of events, including more information on the 2016 Christie Clinic Parade of Lights and all activities, visit ChampaignCenter.com.
Champagne light.
We'll see you Saturday, November 26th for the Christie Clinic Parade of Lights.
Score big and join us at Sun Singer Restaurant Wine Bar before or after the game. Enjoy delicious hand-cut Angus steaks, chops, and fresh seafood, or gourmet salads and sandwiches, along with draft beer and 30 wines by the glass. Sun Singer makes tailgating and entertaining easy. Their gourmet deli has a wide array of side dishes, appetizers, and custom party platters with a unique selection of beer, spirits, and gifts. Sun Singer Restaurant Wine Bar is the area's best choice when spending time with your friends and family on Windsor at Galen in Champaign.
Hi, this is Rick Allen, founder of InformedAthlete.com. For over 25 years, I've advised athletes and parents about the NCAA, NAIA, and JUCO rules. If you're a high school or college athlete, or a parent or coach, we want you to know about Informed Athlete. If you have questions about college athletic recruiting, scholarships, academic eligibility, or transfers, for helpful information and to sign up for our free weekly newsletter, visit us online at InformedAthlete.com. That's InformedAthlete.com.
Whether you're looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle, you can count on the winning team at Sullivan Park Hill. Check out the all-star lineup of Cadillac and Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs. Score big with Sullivan Park Hill's exclusive Q-certified 100,000-mile warranty. Let's drive home a winner in your new vehicle today. For the best in sales, service, and collision repair, it's Sullivan Park Hill, off I-74 between Neal and Prospect, Champaign.
Live from the Habib BPC Studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.